of the courtroom under bright white light. Two plastic hearts found love at first sight. One had a bullet hole, the other had a frown. But when the trial paused, oh baby, love went down. It's hot mannequin love in the court of law. No breath, no blood, just a flawless jaw. Struck a pose, then struck a spark. Made of fiberglass, but lit up the dark. Hot mannequin love with the lenses askew. Who knew Exhibit A would look so into you? She leaned just right, he's sweet just so. Like Cupid fired a dart through a Velcro torso. The jury looked confused, the bailiff blushed, the stenographer typed. Objection, they're flushed. Hot mannequin love, no heartbeat, no shame. But they set off fire in a dart through a Velcro torso. The jury looked confused, the bailiff blushed, the stenographer typed. Objection, they're flushed. Hot mannequin love, no heartbeat, no shame. But they set off fire, the law's just the same. Crime scene dolls, now courtroom flames. In love so real, it should be in chains. Hot mannequin love, not legal but true. Just don't let the judge catch them kissing in view.
Hello, how are you all doing? Happy Thursday. We have almost made it through another week. So close we can taste it or smell it. I'm not sure. Whichever you prefer will work. I cannot tell you which one. I can't tell you which one to choose. You do you. As Gabby would say, you do you, boo-boo. I've heard her say it a lot. Let's see here. I wasn't say hello to Labby. Also, Labby, keep remembering you don't have money for bail. I don't know what you need it for, but that's a good thought to live by. Hello, Ronnie. How are you? Good to see you. Ronnie is bonita. Hey, Gabby. Hey. I'm getting it there. I'm getting there. Doing it. Dog Mom, how are you? Look, your husband being so nice and bringing you dinner. So nice of him. I just had dinner with my husband. Yes, see, you have been known to say that from time to time. What's up, Carmen? I figured you were still sleeping. What'd you say? What's up, my beaches? Are your beaches up? Don't answer that. Oh, well, don't be doing that. That's bad. Don't be doing that. It's so quiet in this room. I don't know what to do right now because I've had a fan on, but since it's August, it's only decided to be not even 80, which is a load of crap. And so I had to turn my fan off because it was a little chilly. I think I'm gonna turn it back on because now it's like dead silent in here, and it's messing with me, messing with my head. I don't know what to do with it. I'm used to this noise over here. It's not here, and it's weird. Well, thank you, Dog Mom. I appreciate that. We love having you here. One of these days, you're going to retire, and if I'm still here, I'm going to pick your brain. I don't know how close you are to that, or I am still being here. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Oh, this silence is deafening. It's killing me, man. I don't know what to do with it. Anyway, to ignore that silence, and I'll turn the fan on in just a second. We are getting that the intro. We'll hear it one more time on Monday, and then it's gonna go away for a little bit, and I'm really sad about it. because I have not well, I don't know. We might come up with a replacement, but that one's gonna be really, really hard to replace because that one just is gold. I love it. I love it. Some of the lyrics don't make a whole lot of sense, but that's just what you get when, I'm like, "Hey, ChatGPT, this is the song I want," and it writes it, and then it makes weird things rhyme, and then but it's and then I got a good voice in Suno that sang it, and I love it. "You like my shirt? Can you have it? Thank you, and no. It would be way too big for you." Little teeny tiny thing. You've got many years before you retire, but I can pick your brain before that. You might change your mind when I start picking it, dog mom. Be like, "Oh, never mind. Put down the knife and fork. I don't want you in there anymore. Get out of my head." Rude. I know. That is true. That is true. Yes. I don't even know. I know which coast, which I don't know where on the coast that you are, but I know which coast you are only because I think you said it once. And I wouldn't bet anything I had that I remembered it correctly. So don't don't tell me. You're good. We'll chat sometime because I would love it. So many questions. All right. So last night, for all of you that survived it, and thank you for hanging in there with me, um, because I know none of you wanted to. And I warned you before I pushed play that it was going to be really bad. And it was really bad. I did not know how many times it was going to be bad, but that metronome, man, I wanted to smash it. Like, just turn it off. I get it. You've made your point. We all want to ram our cars into the house and off a cliff, whatever, just to make that noise go away. Like, good job. The rest of your closing didn't make a lot of sense, but that thing, oh my gosh. And it was funny when it was Gabby, you're welcome. I'm glad you did survive though, Labby. 'Cause, I mean, that was rough. That was rough. And the only way I could get through it, and I know it was driving Gabby crazy, and it was probably driving other people crazy and they just didn't say anything, but I had to move with it. Gabby's like, "Stop moving," but I had to. That was the only I had to do it. If I tried to sit still, it was like 10 times louder in my head, but if I moved with it, it was okay. But I'm like, "Mr. Early, don't ever do that again. If you wanted to get they drove Betty crazy, fine, I get we got it. We got it in 30 seconds. Perfect. Still doesn't excuse everything else that she did." You ended up I'm just about taking out a wall out. I'm glad you didn't. Also, don't take it out on your second sister. Whatever. Don't don't take it out there. Aha, that's where I thought you were, dog mom. That my husband and I, it's so funny because if we were to I always say when he retires that he's gonna have to we're gonna have to live apart because he would go live on like the rocky coast of New England, and I'm like, "Give me the sandy beaches." Like he wants seasons. I'm like, "Give me summer all year. I'm good with it." And he's like, "Give it never make it above 75." And I'm like, "Make it 75 and above." I don't know how we ended up together, but we did. I was we went out to dinner a little while ago, and on the way home, we kind of got in one of those conversations where just one word can make it derail. So I'm like treading lightly. I'm just listening, like, vent away, I don't care. And then it was like, but we were playing like uh family the family version of Russian roulette of his family versus my family. And I just was like, "Yep." Yep, and he said, "I'm gonna stop talking now." It's like, "That's probably smart." I think the next pull of the trigger would have had a round in it. But we're all good. But it's funny, I don't know why we decided to teeter right there on the edge of like, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing? Stop talking." But, hey, Ada, how are you? Yes, Magic 8 Ball. If you don't know the story of the Magic 8 Ball, it's a funny one. It was an embarrassing one, but this is when I didn't know anything, like, and I still don't know a lot about Discord, but I knew very little about Discord, and I was in one part of it, and Chrissy, who we don't see a lot anymore, she's hanging around out there, but she's very busy, and she's in school and has family and all that fun stuff. She was in there one day, and I was chatting with her, and there's a joke about Burger King on that goes way back on this channel, and that's why you'll see things like BK and a felony, because we started watching and paying attention to trials, and they all involved, like, there were several trials in a row that involved the defendant going to Burger King. So we were like, BK, like, everyone goes to Burger King with a felony. You walk out with a felony. So it became a joke. But Chrissy loves her Burger King. She lives out in California. She's like, Burger King's awesome. Like, my Burger King is not awesome. I would not go there. And I'm like, and I probably would walk out with a felony if I went to my Burger King just because I was there. But so I meant, she said she was going to Burger King, and I said something about, like, let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. And I went to find a GIF or a GIF, whatever you say, about it. And I did, and I hit the wrong one because it went up immediately. Now Discord doesn't do that. It lets you, like, you choose it and then you hit enter and it goes up, but it didn't that time. And it's the little triangle thing in the 8 ball, all it said was "you're effed," but it said it out. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I didn't know how to delete it. I didn't know. I was laughing so hard. And she was like, "Whoa, okay then." So that's why we have a Magic 8 Ball. That's why Gabby just said Magic 8 Ball. Because that conversation would be like, you're And then Gabby's like, Chrissy said, "Do I need to get Gabby?" And it was almost like Gabby, like the bat signal went out, and then Gabby was like, "Did somebody say my name?" I was just like, I can't even figure out how to delete this. And I don't want to now because it's hilarious. And Chrissy didn't like want to kill me. So it was okay. But it was funny. Like, so that's the whole BK and a felony. And long story, I know. Dog Mom. One of my favorite places is Wells Beach, Maine. You absolutely love the Rocky Coast because you grew up along the Rocky Coast. It is pretty. It is very pretty. But man, it's so cold. It's just always so cold. I'll have to tell my husband, like, "Hey, I know somebody on the East Coast." It was funny, Labby. I'm just glad it happened with a good person. Chrissy has a great sense of humor, so she and she knew. I'm sure Chrissy and Gabby both knew that I was, like, burying myself, like, trying to just let the earth take me and down, like, just, "I don't care, get rid of me, it's fine," because I was mortified. I was like, "This Discord thing, I knew it was a bad idea. Who talked me into this?" And, yeah, it was so bad. because it was. It was. I wanted to go away forever at that point. But I did not want to go to Burger King. Let me just make that clear. No Burger King. You always get a French fry in your onion rings, and it's weird. I know, but that's because it didn't happen to you guys. You guys were watching. And that's not I would never say that to somebody unless I was really mad or alcohol was involved, or I was really mad and alcohol was involved. And there was none of that involved that day. So, yes, there was no it's just a bad push of the screen. Oh, so bad. I can come visit you anytime in the summer. Okay. Don't if you tell me that, my husband will be like, "Okay, we're going." It's absolutely hot and beautiful. I'll learn to love it. I would like to winter in North Carolina too. So, dog mom, when before we moved to Indiana, we moved to Vermont, and it was I don't know, it was spring, but man, my gosh, there was so much snow on the ground, and it was beautiful there. Loved it. Did not like the people. It was such a change for me. I ended up so sick. I couldn't go to school because I had shingles in like 7th grade. So we ended up leaving early and coming to Indiana, where the vehicles are, Gabby, and the corn. And it's pretty in the fall, but I can't say much else. Alrighty. So we've got rebuttal tonight. No metronome. At least I haven't seen one. The state goes for, I think, an hour, and then we're going to do the verdict. And that'll be all for that. Monday, I plan on doing her sentencing and then putting Betty to rest. The only hiccup that can happen on Monday, that as far as I know, which I told you guys all this when I said we were going to finish Betty tonight, and we're not finishing Betty tonight, was there would be something happen. That's why I didn't like to put it out there. Well, I put it out there again, and now I have to take my daughter-in-law to get her wisdom teeth out Monday morning. Should be okay for Monday night. But just in case, just in case, if I'm not here on Monday, it's because I probably have my granddaughter is probably why. So if I'm not here Monday, that means my daughter-in-law is needs more time to recover, and my son isn't 100%, so I will just have to kind of play that one by ear. I think hopefully she'll be okay. They said the whole procedure, they're doing sedation on her, which may be hilarious, and they said the whole thing to get all 4 out would only take like 45 minutes. So, okay. I don't know. We'll see. My plan is to be here Monday. My plan is to finish Betty up Monday. If we don't magic 8-ball me or send me to Burger King. So that's all the updates I have. I know this says like 2 hours. Just ignore it because I am not going to have us sit through jury instructions on this. There's really no point. Doesn't matter to us, I guess, what they say. We're not on the jury. So I have it sped up just a touch, but I may have to slow her down. I think I'm okay. We should be okay sound-wise. And she does not sound like a chipmunk, which is the way I should have played Mr. Early last night so we could get through the metronome and Mr. Early. So here we go.
California versus Elizabeth Broderick. Court finds all members of the jury panel are present. All counsel are present. Mrs. Broderick is present. You may proceed, Ms. Wells.
Good morning. I want to start off with making a point, a very important point, I think. You know what the people's position is in this case, and that is that the defendant is guilty of murder, and in particular, first-degree murder. You know what the defendant's position is now, which is apparently that she's only guilty or should only be found guilty of voluntary manslaughter. We obviously can't agree. That's why we're having this trial, and that's why we need you. We need you to resolve this case. You're the only ones that can do it. And what you need to know is if you work together and if you conscientiously examine the facts of what occurred on the morning of November the 5th, and you conscientiously apply those facts to the law that the judge gives you, then no matter what you decide, it's going to be the right decision. We are giving this case to you to make the call. It's your call, nobody else's call. And if you do it according to the law, then justice has been served. The people have received it, the defendants received it, and the communities received it. Just make the call. Defense counsel has done a lot of talking to you about emotions, emotional issues, starting off with his opening statement with ripping pictures and smashing glass. His argument is designed to make you feel emotionally about this case. It is okay for you to have an emotional response to this case. You would not be human if you didn't. This case is tragic in all sorts of ways. You may even find that you disagree with each other, maybe even passionately, about how you feel emotionally about this case. But the fact of the matter is that no matter how you feel about the case, your feelings are not what should decide the issues here. I don't think you should ignore your feelings. I think you should talk about them. I think you ought to get them out. I think you ought to acknowledge them. And then when you're done feeling, it's time to start thinking, because that's why you're here. It's time to start thinking, for example, about the defendant's credibility. The only thing to dispute the cold, hard facts of what happened in that bedroom that morning is Elizabeth Broderick's testimony. And when that's the case, you have to look very, very closely at her credibility. You've got to look at things like, for example, motive. Does she have a motive to be less than candid? And ladies and gentlemen, she has the hugest motive there is to lie, to distort. She has, in fact, killed 2 people. She can't deny that. Defense counsel argued yesterday that if she was going to lie, why didn't she come up with a better story? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is she's limited to the physical evidence. That room wasn't torn apart. There weren't weapons in the room. But the other reason is, and this is the main reason, she didn't think she was going to need to come up with a better story originally. She thinks she's justified in what she did. She thinks everybody who hears this story are going to agree that she's justified in what she did. That's what she was saying to Dr. Robinson the very next day when she was telling him about what happened. She was trying to convince him she was justified in what she did. When she talked to Kim a couple of days later from the jail, she said, "Don't worry, I'm going to be out in a couple of days." When she made the statements to Sylvia Cavins, when a jury hears this story, they're going to let me off. It wasn't until she realized that maybe that wasn't so that she started realizing that maybe she had to come up with something a little bit better to excuse her act of shooting them in the bedroom that morning. Defense counsel tried to explain why she didn't testify about Linda yelling, "Call the police," last time. He said she wasn't asked a lot of questions about that. Well, she sure was asked the important questions. She was asked directly, "Why did you shoot?" And her response was, "Because Linda moved." That was it. Linda moved, I moved, and it was over. If her attorney had only asked her a few questions about that, that was obviously his choice. We can presume he'd talked to his client and he knew what her story was before she testified. And he didn't ask any follow-up questions like, "Did you hear anything in the room?" All he asked was, "What happened next?" You have to think about her motive to be less than candid. You have to think about the reaction you had when you listened to her testify. A big part of judging credibility is just your gut reaction of listening to somebody. Although actually, that's probably the least reliable way to judge credibility. All of us have been fooled in the past by people. All of us have been lied to and not known it. People can be good at lying, especially when they've had time to think about their story and to perfect their story. When you think about how she testified, and she was on the stand for several days, you might want to think about some of the differences between how she testified during direct examination, when her attorney was asking her questions, when she was telling her story the way she wanted, with the details she wanted, in the order that she wanted, following her agenda, and the difference between that and cross-examination. When all of a sudden someone is challenging some of the things that she has to say, the difference in her demeanor when someone doesn't automatically accept what she's saying, the evasiveness that all of a sudden started happening about the things that she didn't want to get pinned down on because they didn't support her story, the lack of memory of details suddenly about things that didn't support her story. Just one of the many examples was when she talked about driving her car through Dan's door. And I'm not even sure if you remember this because there's been so much, but when she was describing that incident on direct examination, not once did she talk anything about the fact that before she'd gone over there to drive her car into the door, about going over to Coral Reef and what she had done over there, about having her temper tantrum over there, smashing the sliding glass door, smashing the chandelier, getting a can of gasoline and pouring it on the carpet and lighting it on fire. Those were just details that were conveniently left out of that story. She didn't mention anything in her direct examination about the fact that she had taken a knife with her when she went over there to confront Dan that day. Nor did she admit that she did know about the negotiations between Dan Jaffe and Dan Broderick regarding the sale of the house. That she did know that Dan Jaffe had gotten her what she claimed she had wanted. That she did know the house was going to be sold. Dan Jaffe testified to all of these things. He's got no reason to lie. And look at the letters. There are a series of letters regarding those negotiations and what she wanted out of that. And it's clear. She knew the house was going to be sold. She didn't mind it was going to be sold. All she wanted was more than 50% of the split. But the story you heard on direct examination was only that Dan Broderick sold the house out from underneath her with no notice to her, and she was in a state of absolute shock, panic, and terror. If there had been no cross, if there had been no one asking her some additional questions about that, that's all you would have heard. That was the position that most of her friends were in, hearing just those parts of the story. What's important for you to realize is that whenever Elizabeth Broderick tells you a story, you can be assured that you are not getting the whole story. Even Dr. Dietz testified about that. And Dr. Dietz, by the way, reviewed all of the records in this case. He reviewed all of the investigative reports from both the defense and from the people. He reviewed all of the documents in the divorce from the defendant, from Dan Broderick. He reviewed all of the testimony. He reviewed all of the prior psychiatric treatment. The only additional testimony that he read was Elizabeth Broderick, because he's the one that he was evaluating, and the psychiatric testimony, because there weren't any reports from them. And he said, irregardless of the actual truth of things, it was very noticeable that whenever there was a story of Elizabeth Broderick, that there always seemed to be, from other witnesses, another side to that story. She is very good at telling you this story. She is incredibly good. And her attorney is very good at repeating it. But it is a story, and it is a selectively chosen story. When you challenge that story with what other people have witnessed and said, then her response was, well, they're all lying. Everybody is against me. They're all telling this stuff about me. Everybody is lying about me. Everybody but me. And this isn't just about what happened in the bedroom. This is about all of the background. And there are lots of examples of that. For example, when Gail Forbes testified about her bragging about being a marksman, it was an incident back when they were in Berkeley, and she bragged about being a marksman and an expert shooter. According to the defendant, that never happened. Nothing even close. Didn't happen. When Patty Monahan testified that she had told her that she had a gun long before the wedding, according to the defendant, that never happened. When Sylvia Cavins testified that the defendant had told her she had a gun, she'd been practicing with the gun, and she was going to shoot Dan and Linda at the wedding, according to the defendant, that never happened. When Linda David testified that the defendant had told her how she was going to make Dan's life a living hell and going to murder him, according to the defendant, that never happened. Not maybe I was just joking, maybe she misunderstood. That never happened. When Robin Ta'ua testified about the incident where she'd been confronted by the defendant and the defendant threatened her and told her she had a gun in the glove compartment, according to the defendant, that never happened. Nothing like it. And by the way, defense counsel says, well, where's the police report? Police officers take police reports when crimes have been committed. There was, in fact, no crime committed at that time. She didn't go and get the gun and take it out and point it at Robin Ta'ua. She just told her, I've got a gun in my glove compartment. She could have reported that to the police and the police would have listened, but they wouldn't have necessarily taken a report.
That assumes facts, not evidence.
When Helen Pickard and Gail Forbes and Patty Monahan and Sylvia Cavins and Linda David, when they all testified that they talked to her about the language that she was using with her children and how she was treating them and how harmful that was to their kids, according to the defendant, that never happened. That never happened. In fact, she says they're the ones that use that kind of language in front of their children on a daily basis. When Steve Sparta testified that he called Elizabeth Broderick and tried to get her involved and tried to get her input in helping these kids, when she was asked that question on cross-examination, that never happened. He never did that. In fact, Steve Sparta was just hired as a hired gun by Dan Broderick in this custody battle. That's not true. It's the exact opposite, in fact. He told Dan Broderick he wasn't going to get involved in a custody battle, and Dan hired him anyway to help these kids. When Bill Hargraves testified that he had advised her on many occasions to not violate the restraining orders, that it was hurting the case, that it was going to cause problems with resolving the case, that if she didn't stop, she was going to go to jail. According to the defendant, that never happened. She completely denied it. When Bill Hargraves testified that she had called and complained about Attorney Glucksman filing a motion for custody against her permission, according to the defendant, that never happened. When Gail Forbes testified that she'd called her from jail that day of the Blackstone Ball and told her to call the newspapers and tell them about Dan being at the Blackstone Ball and her being in jail, according to the defendant, that never happened. Why would Gail Forbes make something like that up? When Liz Armstrong testified about her telling her about being offered a job at an investment company and not taking the job because she wouldn't go through the training program, never happened. Why would she make that up? When Helen Pickard testified that she and her husband had made investments with the defendant in Dan Broderick prior to separation, and they talked about it, they made investments together. According to the defendant, that never happened. She was specifically asked about the investment in Pioneer Park, which was an investment with Helen Pickard. The defendant said, I know nothing about that. Well, look at the documents. There's a document that's been introduced into evidence, the subscription agreement for Pioneer Park Investments, and it's signed by Dan Broderick and Elizabeth Broderick in her own signature, November 13th, 1980, 5 years before separation. And there's checks included where they were receiving money off of that investment in 83 and 85, where she endorses the back of the checks. She knew about these investments. How can you have any feeling that there's any credibility in the rest of her testimony that she didn't know about any of the investments that Dan was making? On direct examination, she testified that Dan was jerking me around with support in all of 1987, not paying, paying late in the month, making me go back to court. Well, look at the documents. That is absolutely not true. He was paying her every month. He was paying her at the first of every month. He was paying everything that he was ordered to pay. The documents tell the truth. She testified that Dan and Jerry Berry were having coffee with Judge Howitt in the mornings before court. It's not true. She couldn't have even seen into their chambers from the courtroom. She listed a whole list of things that she was upset about right before November 5th that was building this horrible depression of hers. She said she was so upset the week before. Dan was withholding money from my checks again. Look at the checks. Look at the check from November, from October, from September, from August. Every one of them, $16,000, the full amount. She received $64,000 in that 4-month period before she killed them. On direct examination, she testified she was so upset about her financial situation. It was getting so bad she had to sell the house. On cross, she admitted, because she knew she had to, that her accountant had actually told her she could probably keep the house and the condominium as an investment. She wasn't in any major financial quandary. She said she was so upset because Dan was unilaterally switching her weekends, and it ruined her ability to be with the children on that planned weekend trip for Acapulco the weekend before these murders. That's a lie. That didn't happen. Look at the order that's been introduced into court. The weekends that were switched, and not unilaterally, her attorney was there, had nothing to do with that weekend when she was planning to go to Acapulco. That has got to make you have some sort of doubt about all of these claims she was making to her friends in the past about Dan switching weekends. It was a lie. There's also a letter in there that you'll see that's been introduced where she's claiming I never knew what weekends I would have or when I would have the kids. There's a letter where Jerry Berry, his attorney, sends a letter to her and says, please let us know what weekends you want, what weeks you want, so we can have this settled. She wouldn't respond. There's an instruction that you will hear that says, a witness who is willfully false in one material part of his or her testimony is to be distrusted in others. You may reject the whole testimony of a witness who willfully has testified falsely as to a material point, unless from all the evidence you believe the probability of truth favors the testimony and other particulars. You may reject the entire testimony of a witness that you think has distorted the truth to you. She claims she was so upset that week before because of Kim's call, that Kim called and was so distraught about the treatment of her father and not paying for the apartment in Tucson. Kim's testimony was, that's not true. I called my mom and we talked about it. I wasn't upset. Listen to the tape message that corroborates that. When Kim left the message on her machine and she's laughing. This wasn't a life or death matter. Elizabeth Broderick wants you to believe that her world was falling apart in late October and early November, and it's just not true. You've got to think about motive. You have to think about her demeanor and how she testified. You have to think about the inconsistencies in her own testimony. You have to think about the lies that have been proved by other evidence. Probably the most important way to judge credibility, I think, is just by using your common sense about what was said. Defense counsel talked about using common sense, and I absolutely agree. Does what she said make sense? Do you really believe she didn't know whose keys those were that she used that morning to break into that house? Her testimony was, I didn't know where those keys came from. They just happened to be in my house. I didn't know who they belonged to. I didn't know what they went to. They were completely strange keys. And somehow they just happened to end up in my car, despite the fact that I didn't know what they went to. And then when I'm over there or driving over there, I just remembered that there was this key, this special key that might be in this box that might go to Dan Broderick's house. And it just sort of clicked in at that point that these keys went to that house. Never clicked in before when she found the keys that those were Kim's keys, even though Kim's keys had disappeared only weeks before and Kim had told her about it. Even Lee testified. Everybody knew those were Kim's keys. And she's claimed she was in this alleged state of such tremendous distraught that morning, and yet she's thinking there in the car about the key and looking through the box to find the key. It doesn't make sense. Do you really believe her story about the gun? She's got to come up with some explanation for somehow conveniently having that nice loaded gun there in the car. She says, I carried the gun in my purse whenever I had the boys because it was the safest place for it. The safest place for a loaded gun. She said it was loaded this entire time. Anybody who is concerned about safety and concerned about their kids in relation to safety and a gun, and she had reason to be concerned. She admitted that Danny tried to steal that gun when he found out that his mother had bought a gun and was threatening to kill his father with the gun. He took it and ran out of the house with it. She knew that. And she's carrying around a loaded gun when the boys come over? She could have easily locked it in that locked room that she had. There's no evidence that she didn't have any way of getting into that locked room that she kept bolted up. That's where she kept her silver. That's where she kept her crystal. That's where she kept her jewelry. That's where she kept her wine bottles, according to Lee. She could have locked it in the trunk of her car. She could have given it to Brad to take it away when the boys were there. She could have hidden it somewhere in the garage. She carries around a loaded gun in her purse. And besides that, she didn't just keep it in her purse. She took it out of the purse and put it in her pocket when Dan Broderick was coming over. Is that the safest thing to do with a loaded gun? Put it in your pocket when your kids are there, when Dan Broderick's coming over, and when she even admits Danny once went up and wrapped his arms around her because he was so concerned about what she was going to do? And then just like the keys, the gun just happened to be in the purse, and the purse just happened to be in the car that morning. None of this was intentional, ladies and gentlemen. This was just convenient coincidence. This is where your common sense is much more reliable than the testimony of someone who has absolutely nothing to lose by lying to you. And if she's distorting the truth about these things, you can't accept the credibility of anything she has to say. I'm going to talk a little bit about the shootings and some of the things that defense counsel said yesterday. He emphasized with a very nice, beautiful chart there, the fact that there was movement on the bed by Dan and Linda when they were shot. He never did explain why that makes any difference. He talked about it, and he talked about it all in connection with there being reasonable doubt. And ladies and gentlemen, you have to have reasonable doubt about whether or not they were moving. Well, I agree. I don't dispute that at all. I don't think there's any way to know exactly where Dan and Linda were when they were shot. Elizabeth Broderick is the only living survivor that came out of that room. We don't even know whether she didn't go in the room and actually hold them there at gunpoint while she said her piece before she shot them. Maybe that happened. Counsel mentioned Paul Doherty, who was referred to by Gene Wohlberg. And Paul Doherty did have an opinion that he believed it was possible that Elizabeth Broderick shot at them from the position on the one side of the bed and then went around the bed and put the last shot into Dan as he was lying down on the ground. He thinks that's possible. If you want to accept that version, there's nothing wrong with that. It certainly doesn't reduce her culpability. If anything, it makes it worse. It makes it much more intentional and directed to come around the bed and plunk the last bullet into him over there. Gene Wohlberg, actually, the people's expert, took the most conservative view, that she was standing in the same point when she fired all of these shots. What we do know, without any doubt whatsoever, is that before she entered that room, they were sound asleep in bed. And when she left the room, they were dead or dying. That's what we know without any doubt. Counsel argued that there was no evidence that Dan would have moved after he fell off the bed because of the way he was wrapped up in the blankets. When you look at Dan's body, you can see the blood tracks from his bullet wound, and you can see that he had to have moved. He did some moving.
Whoops, she snuck those in on me. Sorry, photos, graphic. I'll put this one up real quick, get rid of the squeaky chair one, and we'll be on our way. Darn it.
The blood is dripping down in one direction. The blood is dripping down in another direction. There had to have been a point where he was up, probably reaching for the phone to make that blood drip in that direction. There had to have been a time when he was moving to make it drip in the two different directions. And it's very reasonable to believe that when he was still alive, that he reached up to take a look at Linda to see what her condition was, to see if she was dead, and perhaps coughed and left that blood splatter. Counsel talks about Dr. Swalwell and that there was a change in Dr. Swalwell's testimony. That's not true. In case you haven't or didn't notice during the course of this trial, defense counsel has a way of asking very convoluted and confusing questions to people. The testimony before by Dr. Swalwell was that he believed the wound through Dan was a through and through wound, and all that means is the bullet went in one side and out the other side. His testimony here was the same. He believed it was a through and through wound. The only difference was that he hadn't been given the opportunity last time to say there is a possibility that rather than actually going through and through, the bullet might have stopped right there in his chest, and then when he fell off the bed and hit the ground, that's when it popped out. That's a possibility. That's not a change in the testimony, and it has no significance. So what? I mean, either it went through and through, or it popped out when he fell to the ground. These are false issues. To buy the defense that Elizabeth Broderick is only guilty of voluntary manslaughter, it's a given. You have to buy her credibility. But even putting her credibility aside, the problem is that under the law, there is no way that her conduct in sneaking into their room that morning qualifies as voluntary manslaughter. It does not qualify under the law. The law was not explained to you in its entirety yesterday when there was talk about voluntary manslaughter. There's essentially three parts to it. Voluntary manslaughter under a heat of passion theory contemplates a situation. The way it all got started in our law is when someone doesn't have a murderous thought in their body, and all of a sudden something unexpected happens, and it catches them off guard, and it's so severe that they just react, and they react with a murderous impulse. They react immediately, without any time to think about it. They react reasonably. Other people in the same circumstances can see themselves reacting the same way by killing because the provocation was so extreme. The classic textbook example of voluntary manslaughter that probably all of you have heard about and every law student learns is the man who thinks everything is going great and he comes home one day to find his wife in bed with another man. And he's shocked and he's horrified and he grabs a gun on the dresser and he shoots. That's heat of passion, voluntary manslaughter. The continuation of that classic example, textbook example, is that if instead of shooting, he had simply left the house, maybe he went over to a friend's house, maybe he spent the evening talking about what had happened, maybe he was even getting angry and angrier as he was remembering and reliving what happened. And so the next day he decides he's going to buy a gun, and he goes and buys a gun, and he goes over to the lover's house, and he knocks on the door, and the lover opens the door, and he shoots and kills him. That's murder. He may still be very angry, and he may still be very upset, but he's had time to realize that killing is not the appropriate option. One of the major problems with defense counsel arguing to you that this is voluntary manslaughter is that voluntary manslaughter requires an intent to kill. Every person who unlawfully kills another human being without malice aforethought, but with an intent to kill, is guilty of voluntary manslaughter. Elizabeth Broderick says she did not intend to kill. She says the exact opposite. She says, I just wanted to talk. I was going to kill myself. I wasn't going to kill them. I just panicked. I flinched and shot. It was accidental. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to shoot them, let alone kill them. There is a major inconsistency between what she says happened and what her attorney is arguing to you. If he's arguing for voluntary manslaughter, ladies and gentlemen, he is conceding to you that she had the intent to kill, that when she went over there that morning, it was for the purpose of killing them. Sometimes attorneys would like their clients to say different things so that they could have a better legal argument to a jury. But this isn't some intellectual game here. This is real. This is about what really happened and what the truth is. And the fact of the matter is, if you believe Elizabeth Broderick that she didn't intend to kill, then she's guilty of second-degree murder under an implied malice theory. If you don't believe Elizabeth Broderick, she's guilty of first-degree murder. There was a brief mention, by the way, I should mention this, about involuntary manslaughter. You will see an instruction to that simply because under the law of homicide, you get all lesser included offenses. That doesn't mean it applies. In fact, it was never argued by the defense because it doesn't. That involves a situation, usually very tragic situations, where someone is committing a minor crime and a tragedy occurs. For example, carrying a loaded gun and a child grabs it and shoots it and kills someone. That's obviously not the situation here. It's even conceded that Elizabeth Broderick broke into their home with the intent to assault them with a deadly weapon. She was committing, at the very minimum, a burglary and an assault with a deadly weapon, and those are felonies.
I would object. That is not the definition of it. That's the same.
Involuntary manslaughter doesn't apply here. It wasn't even argued here. The other thing that I want to point out, too, before I forget, is there is an allegation that you're going to be asked to make a finding on, allegation of a personal use of a firearm. It's called 12022.5 under the Penal Code. And all that means is that you make a finding that, yes, she did personally use a firearm. And it doesn't matter what you find her guilty of. She obviously used the firearm. There's no dispute on that. The other problem with arguing for voluntary manslaughter is that even if you ignore the defendant's denial of an intent to kill, you still have to find that she was acting as a reasonable person in direct and immediate response to an adequate provocation. To reduce a killing upon a sudden quarrel or heat of passion from murder to manslaughter, the killing must have occurred while the slayer was acting under the direct and immediate influence of such quarrel or heat of passion. This is crucial. The defendant is apparently claiming that that letter that she received, the letter that we've been talking about, that was written by Kathy Cafaro and sent to her attorney, Walter Mond, that she writes on, that talks about the messages she's been leaving, that was the last in a string of all sorts of provocation that supposedly set her off in this blinding heat of passion. The problem is there was no immediate response to that letter. She received that letter, even by her own admission, at least 2 days before. She received it on Friday. Lee confirms, her daughter Lee confirms that when they went shopping on that Friday, that she was talking about that letter, that she was telling her she was angry about receiving the letter. She was angry because your dad is threatening to take me back to jail again. She'd read the letter. She knew it was in the letter. And on Friday, she didn't respond in any uncontrollable heat of passion. On Saturday, the next day when she's talking to Helen Picard, she's talking about the same thing. She's angry about the letter she received from Dan. He's threatening to take me back to jail again. On Saturday, she didn't respond in any uncontrollable heat of passion. She's going about her business on Friday and Saturday. Even giving the defendant the entire benefit of the doubt that she didn't read that letter until Sunday morning, even her own testimony is that after reading the letter, she didn't immediately rush off and do anything. She sat down and wrote on the letter. That's when she claims she sat and wrote this little note on the letter. That's when she claims she sat and wrote an entire letter to Kathy Cafaro. She obviously wasn't in the throes of some impulsive, uncontrollable, murderous heat of passion if she could sit down and think about and draft a letter to Kathy Cafaro before doing anything. And this letter is completely intelligible when you look at it. It's very angry, but it's certainly coherent. The handwriting is normal. It's no different than her other handwriting. There's nothing wild about it. And it is interesting where these letters are found. She claims she wrote both these letters. She wrote on the one letter sent to her. She wrote the letter to Kathy Cafaro within moments of each other. But when you look at the photographs of how things were when they were found and seized, this one in particular, this is the letter over here on this side of the counter from Kathy Cafaro. And this is the letter over here that she wrote to Kathy Cafaro. And it's got another note on top of it, and it's got a paperweight on top of it. Did she write it and put this other paper and the paperweight on top before she rushed off in an uncontrollable heat of passion? Why did she write one on one side of the counter and the other on the other side of the counter? I suggest to you because she wrote one of these letters, and probably this one to Kathy Cafaro, a couple of days earlier. And what that means is there's absolutely no question she knew what was in that letter from Kathy Cafaro when she wrote it. And also, by the way, that letter says nothing about the kids. It says nothing about we're not going to give you the kids, or I'm not going to, or I'm not going to have any more hearings, or I'm not going to negotiate anymore. All it has to do with is her leaving more messages on the answering machine. The fact that that letter was the last of an alleged series of events does not do away with this absolute requirement of immediacy, of responding immediately before you have time to react, before you have time to cool down, reacting immediately before you have time to reflect. The fact of the matter is that she had all the time in the world to reflect that morning. She was sitting there in her kitchen reflecting before she went over there and did this. Even assuming that receiving a letter can possibly be adequate legal provocation for killing someone, she's the one who set the timetable here. She's the one who chose the time. She's the one who chose the place. She's the one who armed herself before choosing the time and place. She's the one who had the opportunity to stop, to change her mind right up until the very instant that she killed him. This cannot be voluntary manslaughter. In addition to the fact that there was no intent to kill, according to the defendant, in addition to the fact that there was no immediate response to anything, there's also another extremely important requirement for voluntary manslaughter, and that is that the defendant be acting as a reasonable person of average disposition.
Well, before she starts reading that, what's up, Sticky? Welcome. You're right on time. How are you? Hope you're all well. We sit in the pub. You could be. It's about 4 o'clock on your coast. You could be. Oh my gosh. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I've been like wrapped up in this Daryl Brooks thing. I haven't heard what she said. Oopsies. It is good to see you. Good to see you. Ah, the 90s hair. AT1 called her a dime store Princess Di. She looks a little like a young Princess Di. Not that she was old when she died, but yeah. Oh, I figured that might be the reason. That was one of the very first trials I did live, not Daryl Brooks, but one of the very first live trials I did. Dog Mom was Jessie Kraszewski, and she was a judge in that, which is why I wanted to do it. Even then, I'm like, just make your record and move on. Not 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be 10 minutes. It's 4 p.m. where you are, and you do have a beer. See? I knew it. Good. I went to dinner, and I had a margarita. I ordered an original on the rocks with salt, and I don't know what was set down on the table. It was in a margarita glass. It looked very citrusy. It had an orange on it with maraschino cherries in it. Like, what? I looked at my husband. I was like, I don't know what this is. But I took a drink and it was good, so I just drank it. She never asked. She asked if I wanted another one. I almost said yes because I wanted to see what she was going to bring me. What's up, Shenny? You're with Sticky. You were only an hour late, 43 minutes, but you're West Coast folk. That's fine. It's always sunny, warm in parts of it. I don't think where Sticky is that it stays warm, but it was not a Shirley Temple. It was not. It did have alcohol in it. I could taste it. Trust me. I was like, I think the whole bottom of I kept stirring it, but I was like, holy crap. The whole bottom of this is like alcohol. You guys have zero faith in me. Whatever. A Shirley Temple is not citrusy. At least not here or in Nebraska. The only 2 states I've ever had one in. Because I wasn't old enough to not have a Shirley Temple. Although they were good. Maybe I should order one. As soon as you get home, you're having a salted watermelon old smoky whiskey. Oh, I've not heard of that one. It is if you put citrus in it. Hey, true. I let those maraschino cherries just sit in the bottom of that glass, and then when it was empty, I ate them, and it was good. And I ate the orange. It was also good. Labby, I feel very rude. I'm sorry, because you are on a 3-month journey, and I don't want to trip you up. They're not good with alcohol. They're not. They're horrible. I had one today. It was horrible. All right. Dang it. Labby, don't let us derail you. All right, let's see what this. Maybe she's only going to read the circled words. Oh my goodness. I can't read what that says. All right, here we go.
The heat of passion which will reduce a homicide to manslaughter must be such a passion as naturally would be aroused in the mind of an ordinarily reasonable person in the same circumstances. A defendant is not permitted to set up her own standard of conduct and to justify or excuse herself because her passions were aroused, unless the circumstances in which the defendant was placed and the facts that confronted her were such as also would have aroused the passion of the ordinarily reasonable person faced with the same situation. Even assuming the absolute truth of everything she says about the whole course of events here, there is universal agreement from everyone who knew her that she was not acting reasonably. From everyone. She had not been acting reasonably for a long, long, long time. Her rage, her continued rage, her refusal to let go, her obsession in Dan and Linda that continued year after year after year was unreasonable. This is where the testimony of the psychiatrists come in and have some importance. Defense counsel challenged the testimony of Dr. Dietz, I think unfairly. Dr. Dietz testified, he has testified for the defense before, he's testified for the prosecution. Neither side goes and buys his testimony. His reputation wouldn't be so nationally known if that were the case. But it doesn't really matter, because the fact of the matter is there's not much difference between the testimony of Dr. DeFrancesca and the testimony of Dr. Dietz about the defendant. Dr. DeFrancesca said, and this is psychological stuff, that she believed the defendant had a borderline personality disorder with narcissistic and histrionic characteristics. Dr. Dietz said, I believe she has a narcissistic and histrionic personality disorder with borderline characteristics. They're basically saying the same thing. It's all in this same cluster of personality traits. And it's not that she's insane. It's not that she's mentally ill. It's not that she doesn't know exactly what she's doing. It's not that she has any impairment in her ability to choose and plan and think. It's simply that she has a personality where she reacts in extreme ways to things. Borderlines are people who overreact to the smallest slight. That was Dr. DeFrancesca's own testimony. By putting Dr. DeFrancesca on to testify about her borderline personality, there is a concession. She is not acting as a reasonable person with an average disposition. They are mutually exclusive. But I don't think you need to have psychiatrists or psychologists tell you whether or not she was acting reasonably during this period of time. Even her 11-year-old son, Danny, saw that she was not acting reasonably. When you listen to that tape, Danny was living these circumstances. And he saw what was going on. He saw what his mother was doing. He saw the unreasonableness. He saw the distortions. He saw, for example, that she only appeared to care about the money. He says it several times in there, at least more than about her kids. He saw that their marriage had been bad for years, and it wasn't just his dad's fault. He saw that it wasn't his dad's fault that they were living with him, that she dumped them over there. He saw that his dad was giving her lots of money, that she had lots to spend, that she had a beautiful home, and she didn't need more money to be happy. He saw that. He saw that it was her conduct, not his dad's, that was making things bad for him, that was making them all miserable, and that she was the only one who could change that. He saw that she had been mad for 2 years by this time, and that was long enough. And he also saw that she was going to stay mad. The last sentence in that tape, he says to her, you want to be mad another 2 years, and after that another 4 years, and after that maybe another 6 years. And he was right. She wasn't going to give it up. An 11-year-old boy pleaded with his mother in every way that he knew how to make things better for him. And she refused. And her reasons why, because I hate daddy, because I'm ticked off, because I haven't been mad long enough. What is clearly going on in that conversation is she is saying, forget about you, Danny. Forget about your unhappiness. Forget about your pain.
Your Honor,
My
I'm gonna
anger-
object to this testimony. That tape was admitted for a specific purpose.
Well, it's just proper rebuttal, I overrule. Comment on the tape.
Did that happen on the tape, sir? Yeah. It was awful. And that little boy pleading with his mom for 45 freaking minutes was awful. Sit down. Or I'll put the metronome on you. You won't like it, but I will. My gosh, that poor little boy in that 45-minute tape I'll never forget that. That was the worst. Yes, no more bad words. Crying because his mom just too wrapped up in her own misery. Like, that was awful. Don't worry, I did not. The metronome is still at my dad's. I did not grab it today. I know exactly where it is, though. Don't make me get it. Yeah, I hope to never hear one again after yesterday. I'll be just happy with that. Oh, he's still arguing. I can see it in the closed captioning. Ugh, stop it. I would not do that to you, Tink. I would not, I promise.
Your Honor, but she only commented on the way that it's allowed in, just like I'm only allowed to comment on things the way they're allowed in.
That's what she's doing, Mr. Lee. Go ahead.
My anger is
Well-
more important. That's what she was saying. Ordinarily reasonable people do not emotionally sacrifice their children in such extreme ways just because they're angry, justifiably or not. Dan Broderick didn't cause her to do that or to be that way. He pleaded with her not to. Linda Broderick didn't cause
Oops.
her to do that or be that way. It was her choice. It was her choice to stay mad. It was her choice to act out on the anger, just like it was her choice to ultimately
You
kill him.
wouldn't. You'd stay, Carmen.
Not only do we not have an intent to kill, not only do we not have an immediate response, not only do we not have someone who was acting as a reasonable person, but we also don't have adequate legal provocation of a kind that is going to naturally arouse an act of killing. And this is, of course, where you've heard all of the bad stuff about Dan and Linda.
I should have known you'd show up when we got rickrolled. I'm Sticky. I was trying to come up with lyrics like she was never going to give him up, but she was going to run into his front door, bump it. But I can't come up with anything. What's up, Zach? Is it still red? Darn it. I think it's just when you come in. I keep putting like stuff on it so it doesn't stay red. It's not working.
Is a simple fact, a very unfortunate fact, but true, that the vast majority of the defendant's testimony, 95% of it, 95% of this case, certainly about the relationship, her relationship with Dan, years before these killings, cannot be rebutted. These were things that if they happened between the two of them. And he's not here to say otherwise. He is fair game. He cannot rebut.
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
Counsel.
I did not bring that. I object.
Both get you on it.
Holy crap, I've never seen another attorney turn around and point their finger and yell, "Counsel?" Oh my gosh, the things we don't get today. Zach, is that a new fish you're holding? It looks different than the other fish. Wow, that was amazing. I wish we could hear what the judge had to say. Those two have gone at it. Almost as bad as um, the whole teams of attorneys and Eileen Warnos. Those guys went at it. And the judge kind of let it go for a little, like in front of the jury, which we saw the entire time. It was so weird. Yeah, WWE SmackDown. I will replay it, Shani. But I can't, like, I'll probably be a little bit too far back because I can't like hit L or J and 5 seconds it on this. So here we go.
Years before these killings cannot be rebutted. These were things that if they happened between the two of them.
Oops.
And he's not here to say otherwise. He is fair game. He cannot rebut.
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
Counsel.
I did not bring that. I object.
I don't see a foot. No.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
She can't. She's
Dan
too
Broderick
mad.
is dead. Linda Broderick is dead. She's been wanting to have the opportunity. They hurt her. She's been wanting to have the opportunity to hurt them and to tell this story about them for years. She said it herself in one of those taped messages. She said, quote, "I want to go to court to prove that you're a fuckhead and she's a cunt." She tried at the divorce trial and she wasn't allowed because it's no fault divorce. It's not at issue. Well, now she has a captive audience. She's got you. And not only you, but all of the newspapers and the reporter people who wouldn't really pay too much attention to her before. Well, they're here now and they're listening now. And she's getting her opportunity to prove that Dan Broderick was what she said he was, and Linda was what she says she was. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everything Elizabeth Broderick wants you to believe about Dan and Linda Broderick, whether they are actually true or not, whether they're taken out of context or not, I'll concede. I am not going to argue about it with her or with you. I'll concede that Dan Broderick was wrong in leaving his wife. No man should ever leave their wife, and no woman should ever leave her husband, especially for someone else. I agree. It's rotten. In a perfect world, it would never happen. In a perfect world, marriages would last forever. They'd all be blissfully happy. No one would ever fall in love with anyone else. And if he was going to leave her, he probably should have left her back then in 1983, when it was clear that he was unhappy, when he was presented with the situation of her slitting her wrists. Maybe he should have left then. I'll concede that he should have given her more money during the course of this divorce. He should have given her everything she demanded when she demanded it. That assumes that that would have made a difference. You know, we've had testimony from witnesses that in 86, 87, 88, 89, for example, she had a closet full of clothes that still had the tags on them. Would another closet full of clothes with tags on them have made a difference? She had a Jag, she had 2 other cars. Would another Jag in the garage have made any difference? She was able to travel extensively and live in $1 million home. Would another trip to Hawaii or Tahiti or San Francisco have made a difference? I'll concede that he should have given her the kids every time she asked for them, no matter what she was doing. no matter whether she had given them to him in the first place, no matter whether she was refusing to take them, no matter whether the psychologists were saying her conduct was harmful. And by the way, there was a lot more to what she was doing to those kids that was significantly harmful than just calling their father a bad name. But maybe he should have declined to exercise any control over that. I'll concede that Linda should have never gotten involved with him. She should have never loved him. She should have never married him. She should have never responded in any way to Elizabeth Broderick's taunts and threats and name-calling and venom and the things she was telling her children to do to her. She should have been a perfect human being, and she wasn't, and neither was Dan. But those verdict forms that you're gonna get don't read, "We, the jury, find that Dan and Linda Broderick were or were not perfect people." They don't read, "We, the jury, find that Dan and Linda Broderick did or did not deserve to die." They read, "Elizabeth Broderick is guilty or not guilty of an act of murder." When you talk about provocation here, you have to think about what the actual credible evidence of provocation is that's been presented that justifies killing. There's been so much talk about this crazy making of the defendant. Whatever the events were that happened in that marriage, by her own testimony, this was a marriage that she wanted very badly to continue, even after knowing about the affair. The events of the marriage, which were 5 years before these murders, had nothing to do with what happened on November the 5th. Counsel argues about going through this long and bitter divorce, that this is provocation. Nobody is saying that it is a great thing to go through a divorce. I think everyone can feel compassion for someone who is being divorced who doesn't want to be. Nobody is saying she didn't have the right to hate Dan and Linda for the rest of her life. But if going through a divorce and not getting exactly what you want is enough to justify killing the other side, then watch out, because our streets are going to be filled with bodies. We have a whole family law courthouse that is filled with people going through long and bitter divorces on a daily basis. And the fact of the matter is, if there was someone who was obstructing the settlement of this divorce and dragging it out, it was Elizabeth Broderick. That's the evidence that's before you. From the testimony of Bill Hargraves, her attorney in 1986, he was representing her over a year and a half after the separation. And she was still specifically telling him she didn't want to settle. She wanted to drag it out. She thought she was going to get him back. Defense counsel talks a lot about all that Elizabeth Broderick went through in this divorce. I think you need to think about what this case is not. You need to put it in perspective. This case is not about a woman who was truly left with no money, broke and penniless. There are lots of women out there who are abandoned by their husbands, who have 4 and 5 kids to raise, who have no source of income, who have no educational background to get a job, to do anything, no support at all. Elizabeth Broderick had available to her for her use and enjoyment more money than probably 95% of the people in this room, maybe even 100%.
Sticky, has it been 5 months already? Wow. Thanks. I appreciate it. Seems just like yesterday. I think she's almost done complaining. Lawyering has changed. Dog Mom, I know that as a fellow prosecutor there, she's driving you nuts. But Brandon, I thought you changed your picture. But I love these old trials because they're fiery. It seems like it's only been 5 months. I know. Thanks for doing me with your lackluster drinking performance. I had one before I even started streaming today, Brandon. Also, thank you for not responding to my message I left you, but that's fine. Whatever. Well, if that's fake Brandon and it's probably Gabby, she didn't respond to my message either. So I'm just going to blame you. I guess it'd just be your Discord picture is different. That's Zach. Oh, well, Zach didn't respond either. Whatever. Nobody responded. Okay, well, go into Discord, go into my Discord, and you have a message from me. You can probably go into Baker's Discord, and you have a message from me. I was just checking on you. I'm nice like that. That's right. Don't. That's not right. I take it back. It's not right. Not right. Take that back, Carmen. Okay, she should be almost done. You can't die. Well, don't even do it once. Not yet. All right, she's got to be almost finished here because I know she went like an hour.
She testified about that, about how I was so alone and I had no one to talk to. And then they ended up putting on a whole series of witnesses, her friends, to say how they had been there for her and been supportive. She had a tremendous number of friends and family. She had the money and the ability to seek out and join support groups and organizations and investment clubs. She had a long-term boyfriend, for goodness sakes, who was treating her wonderfully and taking her places and being supportive. Dan Broderick was not controlling her every moment. She was free to work. She was free to go to school. She was free to travel. She was free to choose her own friends. She was more financially independent than most people you'll know. This is not a situation where she was forced into having no adequate legal representation in a divorce. And there are people out there who are in that sort of financial quandary who can't hire an attorney. Elizabeth Broderick had 4 different attorneys, all very competent. She had the money to pay them. She had the option of keeping every one of them. She's the one who chose to fire them. And this argument about Dan Jaffe and the retainer fee is very misleading. The reason she was given more than 50% of the proceeds of Coral Reef was so that she would have the money to pay that retainer. She chose to invest it instead. I mean, she's complaining Dan wouldn't pay the retainer. She's got $100,000 that she goes and invests. She could have paid a retainer to Dan Jaffe if she wanted. She told Amy Wallace she fired him because she wasn't happy with his actions on her behalf, not because of the retainer. None of them were good enough for her. She fired Bill Hargraves because he wasn't tough enough. He wasn't making life difficult enough for Dan Broderick. She fired Tricia Smith because Tricia Smith was kissing up to Dan. And Tricia Smith was going forward on that divorce. The evidence is that she had hired an accountant. She had taken depositions. Excuse me. She had hired an expert to evaluate his practice. And boom, she's fired by Elizabeth Broderick. Dan was not pulling the delaying tactics here. She was. In addition to that, this is all stuff, we spend a lot of time talking about stuff that's was happening years before November of 1989. The fact of the matter is that after January of 1989, she was actively represented by an attorney, Mr. Walter Mond, who was going to court for her, who was filing motions for her, who was getting orders for her. She unquestionably had someone to go to bat for her. She had someone who could do her confronting for her. She didn't need to do it, and she didn't need to do it with a loaded gun. She complains that Dan got restraining orders against her, and he filed contempt actions against her when she violated them. but she acknowledges that she was smashing windows, she was spray painting walls, she was burning houses, she was driving cars through doors, she was leaving vulgar messages. When she did this stuff over and over and over, Dan could have gotten angry and charged over to her house and retaliated in kind. He could have slashed her tires. He could have smashed her windows. He could have threatened to kill her. He could have threatened to beat her up if she did it again. Or he could do what the law says he's supposed to: seek the assistance of the courts, have a judge decide what's appropriate and what should be done. Is that provocation that justifies killing? Would she be justified in killing Judge Joseph too because he ruled against her? This specter of Dan Broderick and all of his power because he was president of the Bar Association, that was in 1986. Nothing was being litigated in 1986. There was one hearing and one hearing only because the defendant wasn't responding. And that was in December when she was represented by Bill Hargraves. There was another president of the Bar Association in 87, and another one in 88, and another one in 89. And if you walk out into this courtroom or this courthouse and you ask 10 lawyers who the president of the Bar Association is, 7 of them will tell you they don't know. Where was this continued crazy making by Dan Broderick? Where's the actual evidence of it? When you look at 1989, there were 2 hearings in court that she did have to go to in March, both. One was after she stole the wedding list. The other was because she'd kicked Lee out of the house after being awarded custody. She talks so much about the things that Dan was doing to her and never wants to address what she was doing to cause that response. There was nothing after that by Dan Broderick, no contempt actions, no appeals, no barrage of documents. Don't get confused with all this stuff that was happening years earlier. And when there was that litigation, counsel showed you on the board for 1987, that's when she'd hired Tricia Smith. And half of those things are things being filed by Tricia Smith on her behalf. This claim, the claim that is being made to you with very little factual support and no legal support, is that Dan and Linda drove her to this. That's like blaming a rape victim for being raped.
Wow.
That's like a
Dokey. Brandon. I'm scared to answer. I don't have an answer for your question, but thank you for your super chat of what are we poking holes in and using for disappearing magic tricks today? I don't know. Nope, I have been, no, I have not. I have been telling Lavi to stay strong. Always, always. Cut to the point. She did. Didn't she with that? Get to work. I don't have very much longer. Although I was ready for you tonight, Brandon. I just was hoping you would show up a lot sooner than you did. What? I don't know. I was reading about Tractor Supply Company and writing about baby chicks. No, Lavi, you are not. No, you're not. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, this child never left this poor woman, ever. She probably... What? I don't know. Gabby, stop it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I think probably because she had to do this trial twice probably made her detest Betty even more. It's like, and that judge too. And probably even Mr. Early. All right, I think I keep saying this, but I really Carmen cannot fix her. Or it. I don't know. I'm hitting play. I'm very distracted. What's going on?
Defendant saying to the judge, if she hadn't have been walking down that dark street all alone in that short skirt, it wouldn't have happened. It wasn't my fault, Judge. She tempted me. It's probably true. She shouldn't have been walking down a dark street all alone. But does that excuse his conduct? That's exactly what Elizabeth Broderick is saying. They're the ones who had the affair. He's the one who left me. He's the one who divorced me. It's not my fault. They made me mad. Well, you're not going to hear any instructions from the judge that says murder is okay just because you're mad, justifiably or not. Her actions don't qualify for voluntary manslaughter under any of the legal requirements, let alone one of them. One of the very important other instructions that you're going to receive regarding voluntary manslaughter.
No one can fix her.
Is that to reduce murder to manslaughter, the provocation must come from the actual victim. No matter how overwrought or how reasonably impassioned someone is, unless the provocation came specifically from the person you kill, it cannot be manslaughter. I mean, when you talk about this letter, for example, the letter, it didn't even come from Dan Broderick. If Dan Broderick wanted to provoke her, he could have written her a letter. He'd written her letters in the past. He was trying to avoid provoking her. Her attorney, Kathy Cafaro, wrote the letter to Walter Mond. It was Walter Mond's decision to forward this letter to Elizabeth Broderick. And the defendant knew this letter came from Kathy Cafaro. She says, well, it came from Dan. The letter she writes in response to it says, Dear Miss Cafaro. What this also means is that no matter, you've got to separate what you're looking at with respect to count 1 and Dan Broderick and count 2 and Linda Broderick. What about Linda? Linda Kolkena Broderick. So much of this trial has focused on Dan Broderick, Dan and Elizabeth Broderick, and his power and his influence and their relationship and their divorce. Linda has almost become the forgotten victim. Mr. Early spent 4 hours talking yesterday and probably spent maybe 5 minutes out of that talking about Linda. Well, you can bet that her family and her friends have not forgotten that she's a victim. Linda was a separate human being who was killed at the hands of this defendant. And what is the legitimate, actual legal provocation that's been proved that independently justifies a reasonable person in killing her? And there's been a mention of a few things. I'll mention them quickly, that her voice was on the machine, her own voice on her own phone machine in her own home that says, hi, you've reached the Broderick residence. We're out and about, so leave a message at the beep. There's no question that the defendant didn't like that. It irked her because it irked her that Linda was Mrs. Daniel T. Broderick. There is also no question that she just didn't have the right to control that anymore. They were married, for goodness sake. She knew the voice was there. There obviously wasn't any, she'd had years to get used to it. There was no immediate response to that. That Linda wouldn't give her the wedding china. That Kim testified that she'd always hated. At a vacuum, it probably is pretty easy to say, why didn't she just give her the wedding china so that she couldn't have this thing to complain about? But maybe It's difficult to put this all in perspective because Linda can't put it in perspective for you, but maybe after living through this, living through the demands in 1985, in 1986, in 1987, in 1988, in 1989, maybe it's not all so unreasonable to finally say, no, no more, stop, no. That she allegedly sent this note back in 1986 that says, eat your heart out, bitch, on it. That she allegedly sent her wrinkle cream ads that somehow have never been produced. Apparently never seen by anybody else. Certainly doesn't meet any immediacy requirement. None of these things that have been said, even if all believed, even all together, even multiplied tenfold, can possibly justify a reasonable response in killing Linda. There isn't anything she did for months and months and months before these murders other than being Mrs. Daniel T. Broderick. This cannot be manslaughter. Nor does the concept that I think might have been mentioned earlier in the case that maybe Linda was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time reduce the culpability of Elizabeth Broderick. Even if you believe that she went over there just because she wanted to kill Dan and Linda somehow got caught in the crossfire, it doesn't mean that she's not guilty of murder. In fact, it means as a matter of law, she is guilty of murder under implied malice. I mean, the woman who was sitting in her house when she shot by the drive-by shooter was in the wrong place at the wrong time, no question. The man who's driving under the overpass and gets hit by the brick is in the wrong place at the wrong time, no question. That doesn't mean that the person who kills them isn't guilty of murder. It means they are. That's a perfect example. Even if you buy that the defendant went over to kill Dan in a heat of passion, with the intent to kill him in a heat of passion, she still killed Linda too. And at a very minimum, she's guilty of second-degree murder for that, at a minimum. I submit to you that there is no question, however, that she did intend to kill Linda too. She hated Dan, that's clear, but she hated Linda too. She had just as much motive to kill her. In fact, deep down inside, Linda was the real cause of it all. Linda was the one that stole Dan away in the first place. There was no way she was gonna just kill Dan and leave Linda as Mrs. Daniel T. Broderick with all of the money, with all of what she thought was her money. No way. In fact, if it was important that she make sure one of them die, it was Linda. At least if Dan survived and Linda was dead, at least he'd be miserable. And maybe there'd even be the chance he'd come back to her. And that's why she shot Linda first. And that's why she came back and shot her again in the back of the head. And you can look at the statements that she makes about Linda after the killings that support that. Many of these are already gone over. But one of them was starting off with Dr. Robinson and how she was talking about Linda the very next day. Calling her the bitch, talking about how she was responsible for everything, talking about her with such hate and without remorse. I mean, this is not someone who just got caught in the crossfire. There a conversation to Helen Picard a couple of weeks later when she's talking about what happened. And she's talking about how Linda was destroying my life. And Helen asks her, so you destroyed her? And her response was, yeah, she left. Yeah. The statement to Maria Peralta, quote, that fucking bitch had been in my bed for 7 years. The statement to Maria Woods, the deputy sheriff, which is interestingly very similar. That fucking bitch, she was living in my house, driving my car, sleeping in my bed. I doubt if the deputy sheriff, Maria Woods, ever got together with Maria Peralta to put these two statements together. These are not statements of accident or mistake or I didn't mean to. They're statements of hate and motive and reason for killing. Counsel challenges the statements that the defendant made to Dr. Robinson the next day about being that she was essentially happy and that she was relieved. He talks about, well, what do you expect if he's looking at her to determine whether or not she's suicidal? Well, if those are not legitimate statements, then the only other alternative, the only other thing that that means is that she was putting on a darn good act for Dr. Robinson, enough to fool an experienced psychiatrist to get an achieved result. And if she was doing that with him, don't you think she can do that with you? And the interest.
Good grief, lady, I thought you were done in an hour. Brandon. That's a throwback. Do you like Huey Lewis in the News? AJ, don't just stare at it for another and drink it. I was hoping Carmen would. Oh, Brandon. I think I may have time. I thought this was almost done. Frank. That it is very nice. Does she only have one? Does she have two? You do? Does that count, Brandon? If she volunteers as tribute, does that count? Please and thank you. She needs no odds. I've watched her. That girl can put down beer like I've never seen anybody. I like Huey Lewis in the News. No, it's not bad. Although there's one of their songs that the video was on the beach. If this is it or whatever, he was clearly stalking that woman on the beach. And it was kind of, now looking back, I'm like, that's a little, it didn't age well. Well, Carmen, wait till Brandon answers. Hopefully you can volunteer as
Interesting thing
tribute.
is, she makes the very same similar types of statements again about a month later in a conversation with Helen Picard.
I
where
know.
Helen Picard's not testing her for a suicide watch, where she says, I've never been happier in my life. It had to end. There was so much unhappiness before. I couldn't feel better. She says to the nurse Hines the day after the homicides, when she asked her about how she was feeling and whether she was suicidal, her statement was, the situation is resolved. Defense counsel says, well, of course she's going to say something like, I'm okay, let me out. But that's not what she said. She said, the situation is resolved. I'm not suicidal. The situation is resolved. What does she mean by that? What situation? Certainly not her financial situation that she was so upset about. After killing Dan Broderick, that can't be better. Certainly not the children's situation that she was so upset about. She's now in custody and can't be with them at all. The only thing that's different, the only thing that's resolved is Dan and Linda are dead.
Seriously, lady, every time I think you're going to be done, you're not done. Thank you, Brandon. I think you didn't answer my question, but I'll read this. I don't want to, but I will. Let's just make it a cumulative issue. I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane? Stop. Oh, I thought you probably did. I didn't want you to. Oh. If you're the jury, We get it. Move on already. I'm just trying to move to the verdict. It wasn't. It was kind of a yes. You transferred the first one and doing the second. Dang it. Don't look, Lavi. They'll have to show you what it is. It's a Cayman Jack. I had one left. I forgot I had one left. I don't think I like this flavor. I think that's why it's been sitting there. What is a Cayman Jack? Agave mule. I don't think it's very good. I think I don't know. We'll find out. I think it's cold. Also, I brought a straw. This is her rebuttal. Like, it should be shorter. Her closing was good. Like, straight to the point. It was just over an hour. And was really good. She moved it right along. She's not doing so well on her rebuttal. She should have just put the metronome on and just said, I'm just going to tick that until you go say she's guilty. Yes, it's basically an aloe plant. Wait, isn't it agave? What's a tequila thing? Isn't that an agave plant? I don't know. Like, it's cheers, Carmen. No, no more ticking. No more ticking. Hey, Brandy. No. No, Lavi. You're good. You're good. You're good. Oh my gosh. Your rebuttal would have been like over. All right. I'm muting myself so I can open this and it doesn't open in your ear. Oh, mescal. What? I don't know. Yeah. Wait. Sorry. I can feel Brandon getting mad at me. He's staring at me. I can feel it.
And then there's the statement in the letter that she writes to the friend. Whatever the future holds, I'll be okay. I've chosen the path of peace, and I have finally found it. Killing 2 people, including the father of her children, gave her peace. The judge told you at the beginning of the case that this wasn't a death penalty case. That's not true. This is a death penalty case. Elizabeth Broderick imposed the death penalty on Dan and Linda Broderick. They didn't get to present their case to a jury before they were executed. She made that decision on her own. She doesn't have the right to play God any more than any of the rest of us do. She doesn't have the right to decide who lives and who dies just because she's been hurt. It would be an absolute travesty to all the people out there who have lives, to all the people out there who take responsibility for their own lives, to all the people out there who have been held responsible for their conduct, to not hold her responsible for hers. Murder is murder. Going over to someone's home and killing him in their bed is murder. And justice demands that she be found guilty for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. We'll take our morning recess at this time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be in recess until 10 minutes to 11. Please remember the admonition.
It was just over an hour, of course, because it was tart, Carmen. I wasn't expecting that. It was very tart. All right, we don't be mad. Yes, that's what I am. Oh, don't you worry. I could have Carmen and Gabby on here. we We could chat the rest of the night. Don't you worry. We've had like 6-hour phone calls. I love this judge. I'm gonna miss him. Even when he looks like he's at weekend at Bernie's. Smashing. It's all okay. All right. Here we go. To the end. Give me a second. Go away, Judge. Well, since we have literally about 5 minutes left, I may need Carmen and Gabby to come on while I finish drinking this because it'll take me an hour. All right. Here we go. What we've all been waiting for. Stop. Oh, we can get closed captionings for the verdict too. Aren't they nice? I'm not trying to shut the show down. You're trying to shut the show down. Everyone will end up going to the bar, waking up in jail or coroner's office. No. No. I'm not. Stop. We looked smashing. Wait. I am not drinking vodka with a straw. I'm drinking a Cayman Jack with a straw. Just so only I don't normally, but it's just so I don't have to tip the can up like I was last night because I forgot my straw. All right. Here is the verdict that we've all been waiting for. Whoopsies. I don't even know what I'm doing. Well, you're already there, Sticky, so you're ahead of all of us. I said, Gabby, we've got like 5 minutes left, so you and Carmen are going to have to come on. And 6 minutes and 48 seconds because this is going to take me an hour to drink. No, you're not, Lavi. All right, here we go. I wonder what it's going to be.
You see it come to this court session?
Okay, fine.
Afternoon. Matter of the people of the state of California versus Elizabeth Broderick. Court finds all members of the jury panel are present. 2 of the 3 alternates are present. Mr. Schmidt waived his right to be present for these proceedings. All counsel are present. Mrs. Broderick is present. Mr. McAllister, I understand the jury has reached a verdict.
Yes, that's correct.
Would you give the forms to my bailiff, please?
No, kind of weird.
Clerk, can read the verdicts.
In the Superior Court of the State of California and for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California plaintiff versus Elizabeth Ann Broderick defendant, Department 28, case number CR 112048, DA number B68588, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Elizabeth Ann Broderick, guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187(a), a felony as charged in count 1 of the information, and fix the degree thereof as murder in the 2nd degree. Victim, Daniel Broderick. And we further find that in the commission of the above offense, the said defendant did personally use a firearm within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022.5(a), dated December the 10th, 1991. Presiding juror, George McAllister. in the Superior Court of the State of California and for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California plaintiff versus Elizabeth Ann Broderick, defendant, Department 28, case number CR 112048, DA number B68588, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Elizabeth Ann Broderick, guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187, A, a felony as charged in count 2 of the information, and fix the degree thereof as murder in the second degree, victim Linda Broderick. And we further find that in the commission of the above offense, the said defendant did personally use a firearm within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022.5, A. Dated December the 10th, 1991, presiding juror, George McAllister. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, were these and are these the verdicts as I read them?
Sure, we want the jury poll as to each count.
Your Honor, the court could poll them as to both counts together.
All right. Clerk poll as to both counts. Yes, one polling as to both counts. All right, let's record the verdicts. Weight ratings recorded.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I want to thank you for your service as jurors on this case. Service as a juror always interrupts everybody's daily routine, but when you serve on a case that's the length of this one, it calls upon you to make substantial sacrifices and adjustments in your daily schedules. So on behalf of the lawyers and my colleagues and myself, and most importantly, the other members of this community, I sincerely thank each and every one of you for the time you've devoted to this case. You probably think I watch the ceiling lights a lot and don't pay attention to what was going on, but I did notice that you folks took a lot of notes. Some of you I know were on your second notebook full of notes. So I am aware of the fact that you were very attentive, and I sincerely thank you for your service in this matter. I particularly want to thank the alternates, Mr. Sheely and Mrs. Scott and Mr. Schmidt in his absence. You probably have the hardest job of any of them because you don't get to state your opinion. You have to listen to everything and pay attention, as I know you did, and you don't get to vote. So I know you've had a tough job. I appreciate the fact that you were willing to serve as alternates and that you did in fact pay as much attention as I know you did. And I thank you extra special for your willingness to serve in this matter. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, you are of course released from your admonition not to discuss the case with anyone. You can discuss it with anyone that you want. However, it's important for you to know that you're under no obligation to discuss this matter with anybody. Attorneys or representatives of the attorneys or the press will most likely want to talk to you if you want to talk to them. I would only caution you that if you decide to talk to anyone about this case, that you say only what you'd be willing to say in the presence of other jurors or in this courtroom under oath. I'd also remind you or ask you to consider your fellow jurors that they express their opinions in the jury room in confidence and in the confidentiality of that jury room. So if they want to express their feelings, I would request that you honor their personal opinions and let them decide whether or not they want to say how they felt. If you want to discuss how you felt, that of course is up to you. But I would ask you to consider the out of thoughtfulness and respect the views of your other jurors and let them decide whether or not they care to make a statement. Along those lines, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that members of the media and the attorneys are going to want to talk to you. What I intend to do is in a few moments release you to go back to the jury room to pick up your personal belongings. I'll then make my courtroom available in approximately 15 minutes for members of the press and any of you that want to be interviewed or make a statement or whatever, or if you want to have a representative or whatever you want to do. Again, you're under no obligation to do anything, but I will make the courtroom available so that you won't be hopefully bothered at home or otherwise if you desire to make a statement. So my bailiff in about approximately 15 minutes would let you back into the courtroom where you can make a statement if you so desire. And again, you're under no obligation to do that. At this time, I would again thank you for your service as jurors in this matter. If you follow my bailiff to the jury room to pick up your belongings.
Oh. Stop. That's all for today. Hey, Flashbane. I saw you somewhere. Hey, you said, hey, 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 hey. Yeah, that smile is why she's still in prison after being up for parole, I think 3 times. Yeah, she was very mad. Very mad. Carmen, your dog's barking again. She did believe that Dan and Linda deserved it. Yeah, she has never been sorry, and she probably never will be. Not by now. Nope, I have to finish. The rules are rules. Dang it. Oh, Carmen, that's not what I thought you were going to say. Betty, when you go to prison, remember when someone grabs your pocket, that's them claiming you as their bitch. I thought you were going to say, Betty, remember a good Sully sleeps on their belly. But I guess that wouldn't matter for her. Yeah, the prosecutor is about to go Betty someone. Yeah, she did no wrong. I think she was smiling because she got second degree. I didn't realize they were trying to prove premeditation until yesterday after the metronome shut off. Yeah, no, she's not innocent yet. Gabby, don't encourage her. Rage, range, it's okay. Yes, after I said it, I thought about it and I realized that it wouldn't matter. But it was lame. Leave me alone. I don't have your training and experience, Carmen. Oh wait, I have Discord notification. Oh no, nothing from Lesko. Thanks, Brandon. It's okay. I didn't really want to know how you were doing. That was a lie. You got pizza? I was offered pizza or Mexican food tonight. I chose Mexican food. Yeah, I don't know why she took it so personal, but she did. For sure. 100%. So on Monday, we will do closings. Closings. Good heavens, I'm reading something. We will do the sentencing because I know you're all dying to know what she got. Surprise. It will be no surprise at all. But we do get to hear some arguments from the state and the defense for her. And then we do get to hear some victim impact statements. And I think there is about 2 hours of that fun stuff on Mondays. All right. I sent Gabby and Carmen an email. Maybe the prosecutor's husband left her for a defense attorney. That's why she took it so personal. Wow. Huh. I never paid attention if she was wearing. You waved at me. The best I can do for floating a drink. I'm not floating it. I'm drinking it. Well, thank you for putting pants on. Good grief. It doesn't say you waved at me. Nope, it says you sent a sticker wave. See, that's why I thought you changed that you changed your profile picture because you changed it in Discord. It was different. There's Sticky. What's up, Sticky? I'll wave back while I'm waiting for Carmen to put on pants. Yes, it's different on Discord. You're good. If you're out and about and you don't have pants on and they haven't arrested you by now, you're okay. That's an account gone to the wind. I'm probably talking to a lesbian hacker. All right, well, I'll hand her over to Carmen. She'll know what to do with her. You had a fight with a trash can? Who won? Oh, see, you did wave at me. I guess that means you're doing okay. Me too. That's why Gabby pretty much runs it. Because I don't know. You're the lesbian hacker? You have pants on yet? Wait, you got in a fight with a trash can trying to break down a pizza box? Why would that make you get in a fight with a trash can? What's up, Gabby?
Shit.
How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous, you know.
Good night, dog mom. Going to finish your dinner. Go home. Yes, go home and go to bed.
I almost forgot how to do this.
That's how I feel after the weekend. The people at the
Well, I
pub are
had, like-
giving you side eye.
I had like cleared my computer from like all its like cache and stuff, so it logged me out of a bunch of stuff because
Oh,
I did
yeah.
that. And so when I came in here, all like my pictures weren't loaded to it for like my profile picture on here and stuff. So I had to do that because I didn't have one.
You said you was. I said I was okay yesterday. Today is good as well. Zach loses again. I think Zach's probably happy to lose that, Brandon, if that means if you're having good days.
Because today was a good day.
Good day. Where'd you go? She said today was a good day and then she leaves me. That's not a good day. Come back, Gabby. Come back. Auntie M. What are you doing? Come back. I feel like what was her name? Rose at the end of Titanic when she's trying to get the boat. Come back. Come back. I don't have a whistle. I didn't. I did not. I wasn't touching anything. You're gonna start betting against Carmen. Her neighborhood sounds rough. She does have some. I don't. There she is. It's She has some interesting characters around there sometimes.
My bad.
All right. See, Brandon, I didn't do it. That's what she said. That's what I thought too.
It was me. I logged back in and it kicked me out.
I was like, come back.
Mhm.
Carmen, how long did it take you to put on pants?
Well, I mean, she probably needs one of those, like, you know, old man pants putter on her things. You know what I mean? Like the sock putter on her helper thing.
She's one of those grabber things, like they reach up to get stuff off a high shelf with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she can pull her pants up.
What do
Sticky
they
owns
call-
one of those.
The shoehorns. The shoehorns, but they're
Oh.
what would you call it? Like a pant horn?
A pant horn. She needs suspender. I don't know. Sticky, what's it called? I can't make fun. I have a pair of shoes that I had to go buy a shoehorn because I have a pair of shoes I cannot get on without it because you can't loosen the laces up on the shoes enough. And it's like, and I'm like, how do you use this thing? But I figured it out. And now it's like easy. Discord is the worst platform ever made. Sorry, I didn't make it.
Well, there are some not good ones out there, but most of the ones that I'm in now are just like really nice ones. They're not, you know, You gotta really be careful though.
What? You also made a bet that a Chinese child will be missing a pancreas, so either way you win. Wow.
Oh my god, Zach.
You are holding a different fish in that picture.
Yeah, what is that? Swordfish?
I don't see a
I can't
thing off the top.
Well, what's going out of the picture?
My foot is
Can't
not
really see it.
fat. All my other shoes fit just fine. 81. I do not have fat feet.
Like Betty's.
And they are not like Betty's. Oh,
They have these things
Yeah.
called compression socks that help that.
yeah, I don't need those.
Oh, all right.
I have them, but I don't need them. And I hate to wear them because I hate trying to put them on. You really got to be careful though, because you lose your junk if you get too close to the pants puller upper.
Oh, yeah. I could see. I mean, I'd have to look this up. Now I got to Google it.
Lavi, don't let us derail you. Don't do it. It looks like a sturgeon. It's a what?
Oh, this is a real thing. It's a real thing. I
Is
was
that
just
a-
making it up.
A cubia? Brandy's hubs and I were discussing spearfishing, and that's the one I got. Scuba diving.
This says Fab Life Hip Kit 7 with 26-inch reacher for pants puller upper thing. Fab Life Hip Kit.
There you go. Fab Life Hip Kit. Look it up.
Ooh, here's like suspenders one. Clip and pull aid straps for pants. Elderly pants pull dressing aid.
I have no comment, Brandon. From what I hear, you could probably pay to find
Then
one
there's
in the
another
US.
one. And there's another one called dressing stick. With sock removal. Comes with it. Brandon starts going, oh.
Oh my goodness. All right, I gotta turn my fan back on. I'll be right back. She talks about
Well
herself.
then.
Carmen, tell your dog shut up.
Rude, do whatever you want. You're perfect.
She does, and she's not. Yep, that one's mine. Is automatic. It runs on Steam and Broken Dreams.
They also have rainbow pants puller uppers.
There you go, Carmen. You can get a rainbow one. Cheyenne will
Yeah, look,
approve.
rainbow's behind me, right there.
Yeah, no one can ever have
Clip
enough.
and pull dressing aid, pants wearing aid belt.
It's the neck, Zach. It's the neck.
Well, Carmen just rubbed her eyebrow, so what does that mean?
You have to ask Zach. I don't know.
Are we playing baseball and we're doing those like funny things that they used to do? It's like, wait, does that mean
I
he's
don't
gonna
know.
go left?
Yeah, when they're like
Yeah.
doing all that and they're like this.
And they like touch the tip of their nose and they like tag their ear. Yeah, and then they do like, you know, Amen, Holy Spirit,
Holy Spirit, activate.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh my God.
And then just like, rah, rah, you got this.
Ah, I'll be right back. I have to go turn my fan on.
This is a bad idea, AJ.
I'm aware.
Just so you know, you did this to yourself, AJ. You did it
I
to
didn't.
yourself.
It's Brandon's fault.
I didn't think you were really serious. And then you're like, I sent you an email. And I was like, oh, she's serious.
I'm
Yeah, I
serious.
didn't either. I was sitting there just laying in bed.
Because
being
I could have
lazy.
just, yeah, I could have just came on. I didn't need the email.
Get on. Wait, I'll be right back.
Gabby, thanks. You get on stream and YouTube crashes. Sounds about right.
I like how right when I got on, I get a text from Dill. It was like, "You playing tonight?" I was like, "Of course." Right when I get on here.
Nope. Sorry, Dill. You had to sign up on
But
the
no,
board
did
to
you
get
see that
time with
video?
her. Which video?
Wait, what are you guys laughing at?
The video I texted you.
I was
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
watch it.
I
I
we
didn't
were
see the
laughing
dude though.
because
Me either. I was like, "Where's the little boy?"
no, I think he's in the ambulance. But I'm trying. There's somebody
He's in-
else that had the video. I'm trying to find it, but I think Facebook took it down. Where he's like limping away, and then the cop is just like right there, and they're
That's
like,
what I.
"Please put your hands up. Please put your hands up."
That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them pit him, because that would have been priceless. Did he?
How much trouble can we get into? A lot, actually, Shani.
Jenny.
You have no idea.
You have literally no idea.
But
We haven't
were
done
laughing
this in a while.
We have not.
because I said literally right when I got on, like my camera popped up. I got a text from Dill that said, "You playing tonight?" Gabby
Oh.
was laughing. Was like, "No, you have to have your name on the clipboard in order to get time with her."
I got there first tonight. Suck it, Brandon and Bree.
You know what would have just made that better when you said "suck it"? You know, when that little kid thing that they used to do with the crossed hands, like right at the crotch, like "suck it."
Well, I can't do that. I'm sitting down.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, like the WWE.
Yeah,
Suck it. See?
that would have been
Where's-
funny.
Where's Carmen's
Right
magical
here.
drink I passed off? Right there.
And mine's like a hobo drink. It's wrapped in a brown paper bag. So
You know, I believe you. I don't.
I was gonna say, I
I
don't
don't.
know. I could see it.
I would be hilarious though. I would laugh so hard.
one of these
I would
days,
never stop.
I'll turn on my camera one of these days.
One of these days, that's okay. My husband, he said, I keep waiting for you to tell me you and Carmen are going to go see Gabby. I was like, well, I'd have to take Bree and I can't take Madison. So we're just going to have to bring you out here. Hey, I did nothing. That is not me. I have never even had one of those things. I don't want one
that's
of those
disgusting.
things because I've heard they're gross.
No, they are. Just even
I'll-
saying that word, Bush Light.
Carmen and I could have also said, and then I also heard that about the beer.
Well, I like it because the first name is
You
Bush.
like Bush Light? Oh God. Oh, it's disgusting.
She didn't get it.
Bush Light.
I got it, but it's cheap. And my
Well-
problem is I can drink a
Oh.
lot of them.
Well, let's not skimp on good liquor. Okay, let's not do that here. That's just bad. Bad for everybody. Bush Light. It's on fire. Yeah. Pretty much.
Glad I don't drink that crap.
Someone came into my house with one day. I was having a party a couple years ago. They came into my house with a Zima. I said, "Get the F out of here with that. Like you're
that's
not even
insane.
entering."
I didn't think they
Get
still
out.
made that. Oh, we had
Like,
this
that's a bad
conversation one
wine
time.
Cooler.
It's the worst. It gives me I remember those things, and it was instant headache, like instant. I can't stand those things. Is that malt? Is it malt liquor? Liquor?
A Zima? I see that, Carmen. If I were a lesbian, I might like Bush, but light. So you can always count on Chinny.
Hold on a second. If you want something to make your pubes on fire, I have some.
If it's made by Anheuser-Busch and tastes like toilet water, dysentery infused toilet water. Zima is bad. I didn't think it was still around. You would prefer there was way too much lacquer on the hardwood flooring, but facts are facts.
that.
Oh,
That's a bad morning.
Everclear,
Well, I
yeah.
hope you left.
Yeah, she left to go drive to the liquor store, the poor girl.
Mhm.
Poor thing.
I hate it. We've corrupted her.
By the end of this stream, we're all going to need the pants pull-up thing.
Which direction? I feel like it's in 6,000 different ones. Make sure you mute yourself.
Well,
You're like an aging machine when I have a keyboard.
you think you're uncomfortable now, Sticky. Maybe you shouldn't be here. I mean, I'm just putting that out there.
A Zima is a cross between a popsicle and a gay wine cooler.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly how I'm going to take a snapshot of that so I can tell my friend to stop drinking those horrible pieces of crap things.
Just drink tequila. You don't need pants.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's right.
mhm.
Well, if you're over 30, you don't need pants because you don't go to the bar anymore anyway. So, I mean, you can go to the bar without pants, but you're probably going to get arrested.
Because Flashman said no more pants. He's trying to eat here. What?
I mean, I can take my pants off.
No, you cannot.
Zach, so do you prefer railed or derailed?
I'm not answering.
Derailed. I'll answer.
Wait.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. You know what? Why not?
What's adding machine, but my phone is telling me I'm too old to tell.
Oh, there's Bree. Hey, Bree, your
I
name's not on
saw
the calendar yet. It's not there, so you can't have her.
Did that work, Brandon? What's up, Bree? You just mad because we've got Carmen hostage here? You've never needed pants?
Sticky. He's just afraid to use the pants puller upper again.
Yeah, because his junk got too close to it once.
It's like, I kind of need that thing.
Let me get a handle on that. Sorry.
Excuse me. Who made this thing? This is horrible.
The snake about bit my snake. Oh, no.
Holy Lord Jesus.
Bree, gross. That's the worst part of Step Brothers. It's the worst scene in the entire movie. Is when
dog turd. Oh.
You know when they're putting his face down to the white
Oh,
dog?
don't they just make him lick it?
Yeah, but it's white dog poop. And I know
Yeah,
it's not
but they
poop,
don't-
but it's so gross.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what happens sometimes.
I couldn't eat, those like white powdered donuts? I couldn't
Yeah.
eat those for a while after I watched
Yeah,
that.
because it's
It's the
gross.
same thing with milk with you in Baker's
Why?
video. That was the best.
Oh, we haven't played that for a while.
We should play it, I think. Carmen's like, all right, I'm leaving. Bree, you got your wish. Bye, everyone.
Fran says depends on who's riding the rails.
That's a
can
good
play
point.
it.
That's a good point. Let's go.
Zach, that is not nice. Don't read. Oh, it's. I read it. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, we definitely read it. I appreciated it.
Yours shows you're used to handling small meat. Wow. Whoa.
Bree, coming in hot.
That's my sister-in-law, everybody.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Everyone, Bree has arrived.
Oh my gosh.
If anybody wants to know how family outings go,
I mean,
Goodness.
okay, I'm done eating. Pants away. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. When Mexicali is too lame, try some habashu.
What's a habashu?
Bless you too.
Yeah, exactly. Gesundheit. Do you have a shoe? That's how I would have a shoe.
Mezcal, whatever.
Habashu.
It's okay. I have
Mexicali? Cali Mex?
no
Trail
mezcal.
Mix.
Mezcal is I think isn't that tequila? Brandon would-
Tex-Mex.
I just have agave mule.
AJ's like, I'm just drinking a
That's-
cactus.
I'm drinking a plant.
I'm drinking a plant.
Unplanned.
What's up, Super Son? You can't have her yet.
Oh,
What's up?
oh, they're both in here. That's
Yep.
it. They're desperate. They're desperate.
You feel sorry for whose husband?
Probably mine.
Probably mine.
Most days I feel bad for him too.
Ew. Nope.
It's not mine. I haven't really found my husband yet. I think it was the guy that did the burglary.
He's looking. Oh, look at you. Oh my gosh. Carmen's growing up right before our eyes.
Wow.
Wow. She could never say that word. And in court, she would say robbery with a B, and the judge would be like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wait, what's Wait, I've heard this before, but what's now I can't even say it.
Robbery with a B is burglary. And she just said it because she
burglary?
wasn't thinking about it, and she just said it, and she didn't have any
Yep.
problem saying it. She can't say that.
Well, they were making fun of me last night in Discord chat how I said sparklers.
Sparklers.
Yeah. Everybody was laughing. They're like, "Wait a minute, say that again." And I was like, "Sparklers." Like, what the fuck is a sparkler? And I was like, "It's a firework."
It's a sparkler.
So you get a spark plug.
Spark plug? Yeah.
For your vehicle.
Vehicle.
You were promised pants. You just said you didn't need them. Make up your mind.
I was promised pants.
Well, Flash fan, we were just talking about me looking for a husband. Trying to get my pants off.
Oh my god. Drinking Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pete. Fire.
Dr. P.
I can't say that. Carmen.
What?
Wait, how come
What
that
did
one
you
didn't
say?
show up?
What did you say?
I
what
said
did
we were
you
just talking
say?
about me looking for a husband and you're trying to get my pants off. Flash fan. I'll talk to you in private.
You're gonna buy her dinner first. I mean, you're gonna get a cheeseburger, Carmen, just so you know, if Flash fan's buying you dinner.
That's fine. I like cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger. What's this one say, Carmen? I won't ask you to read it because now you can't, probably because you're thinking about it.
Burglary. Ooh,
Look at
There you
you.
go.
twice. Is simple trespassing with the intent to commit another felony. In many states, you don't have to steal anything. But in the great state of Texas, you're going to get shot like he did and limped away. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Bringing got his wife under control. Good man.
Gotta get a baby to
boy.
get to bed. Good night, Bree. Well, good. I don't want you to
glad-
not be comfortable.
Glad you're totally
I'll-
comfortable now.
All she's getting is Uber Eats. You've
My
yet to
man.
say anything that is a negative.
Yeah.
He had pizza.
I mean, I think
And then
she's
he thought it
more
was
attracted to
Italian.
you now. She's
Yeah,
more
like-
attracted to you now, Flash fan.
I am. You've actually converted me. Cheyenne's going to come home and be like, hey, we need to talk.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, he did not eat healthy. He had pizza and then he fought a trash can trying to do something with the pizza box. I don't remember what it was, but
So you're telling me I get Uber Eats and you can fight even if it was a trash can and you might have lost?
and a cheeseburger.
You stole my heart. And a cheeseburger.
All the no pants talk is very soothing. To
All this no
myself.
pants talk.
Wait, where'd Brandon go? Not my Brandon, the other Brandon. He said I had to finish this, and then
Yeah.
he left.
He left you high and dry.
You didn't lose. Kind of sounded like, oh, there you did. What
there
drink
he
order
is.
did you place with that? With what? I have no. With I. Oh, your dog.
AJ's actually streaming in a back alleyway with rabid dogs.
I swear, like, you hear her, she's outside my door. So then she's going to go down the stairs, and then she's going through the kitchen, and then she's going to get stopped because they're not allowed in the other room when we're not there, when we're not in there. So now they're going to sit at that door. And it's like you could just hear her fading. I'm sure my other half is probably home because otherwise they'd be
There it
howling.
goes. Sorry.
Let's go.
It's this
Well,
nasty.
because you're taking forever, I have to go get another one because
Oh,
you
that's
need
fine.
a sippy cup for yours.
Well, I have a straw in it. It's gross.
It totally looks like a sippy cup too. That one.
Yeah, it's a little Yeti.
That's hilarious.
It's this gross thing, Zach. That's why this was sitting in my fridge, and it's the last one of these because it was gross. I didn't place an order. I don't have Uber Eats. I have Amish Eats. All your girls need to have that bag? What?
What bag? What girls?
What girls?
What girls?
What is happening right now?
I don't know, but he needs to explain this.
Huh.
All these girls need to have that bag. What's that bag? What's these girls? What does that mean?
Ronnie, I'm glad it's not just me. Although it typically is. No, maybe. I might. I don't. It's gross. Do you not know what a bag is?
I know what a bag is, but I don't know what your comment means.
I know what a bag is. What kind of bag are you talking about?
Like, are we talking about a grocery bag? Are we talking about a Ziploc bag, a gallon, freezer bag, a sandwich bag, a snack bag?
Or a bag of what?
Yeah, a bag of what?
Money, people, money. All your girls need to have that bag.
I get you. A bag. He's talking about they gotta have those bands. I get you.
Well, sorry,
Zach.
Sorry that you're from ancient times.
Sorry, I'm from Amishville.
I never heard of that in
Yeah.
my life, though. They need to have that bag.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I wasn't the only one.
Amish.
I never heard of that.
I've heard.
And Ronnie's like, I still don't get it.
I still get it.
Who, me? No,
Yeah.
I live in Indiana. We have Amish here. We don't discriminate. No, I don't care what you've heard.
Those are the people who deliver her pizza, the Amish.
Yeah, so I don't get it.
Uber Eats out there is
used to
just
have
owned by the Amish, and they deliver it by horse and carriage.
We used to have an Amish guy that would come and do our horses' hooves and stuff.
No. Hypothetically, he cannot. No. Not anythetically.
Still can't.
That
do
would
your
be
dog.
weird because then
That
I
would
would
be-
have
would
to call
really-
him. I would have to call him Papa in a different way, and I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
And we don't like that. We don't. I mean, the only person we call Daddy is Daddy Shortnuts around here.
And I say his full name because it would be weird to call him Daddy.
Well, I call him Daddy Nuts.
Could you
I guess
imagine-
that's weird too, but
Could you,
I know the story.
could you imagine if Dad just walked in the house and then all you said, you were responding to Daddy Shortnuts, and you were just like, "Hey, Daddy." She'd be like, "Who are you talking to?"
Who's your daddy?
No,
That would be
um,
hilarious. Oh my god.
I can't. No, he wouldn't. He would be fine because I am close to Bloomington, close to IU, and all the students. Rah, rah, rah. Utah. Yay, yay, yay. But I don't live in Bloomington or that county. I just have to go
What
there
the
from time
corn?
to time. I live by the corn.
Oh, speaking of that,
What, the
two,
corn?
two people hit the bridge yesterday.
A corn bridge?
No, I think it's actually a railroad that goes, it's a really narrow, Bloomington builds really stupid roads and they still haven't figured out how to not build stupid roads. So there's this really narrow bridge, but like I said, I think the railroad goes across the top of the bridge and it's all concrete and it's old, but it goes like there's a really sharp like S curve there and people can't make the turn and it's not high enough to get like a U-Haul truck under. So every year when the students come back, there's always a picture in the paper, at least one or two or more of a U-Haul truck stuck under the bridge. So,
Oh, that happens around here too. In Boston, there's this one bridge that all the people always try to move their moving vans because they're going to school in Boston through this one bridge. And it happens every year when they're moving students up there. Just like U-Haul trucks destroyed by this one bridge because they can't read a sign.
yes. So I've been through part of Kokomo. I've never been to Kokomo. My husband worked like 2 years in Kokomo, and I learned to hate Kokomo. I guess.
Every time I hear that, all I think is that song.
Yeah, and do you know that doesn't even exist?
What? The
When
song?
they're
Or the
like
play?
way down in Kokomo, there is no way down in Kokomo.
Really?
Yeah, there is not
What's
a
the
Kokomo
down-
like
what's the-
that.
What's the downest part of Kokomo that there is then?
There is no Kokomo like the beach Kokomo. There is not one. There's Kokomo, Indiana. That's north. Cold.
Rude.
Yeah, it's off the Florida
Unbelievable.
Keys, but I don't think it exists.
I'm gonna Google that. Is it spelled with a K or a C?
Okay. Yes, it's a very long story, Brandon. Let's go.
Kokomo,
Talent.
Indiana. And then Kokomo Beach.
Is there a Kokomo
There's
Beach?
one. There's a Kokomo Island, a private island resort in Fiji.
That wouldn't be off the Florida Keys. I mean, I guess.
Oh, Florida? Let me see.
You were only 80% of it.
Kokomo.
Figures.
Kokomo, in
Loser.
the context of the Beach Boys song, is a fictional place, not a real city or island in Florida. The song, released in 1988, mentions locations like Florida Keys, but Kokomo itself is a made-up destination.
Yeah, I was right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I just have to get the end part there, but I was right.
Because you know what? If you don't know something, there's this thing called Google, right?
Mm-hmm. Which
And-
yesterday, sorry.
You know, no, it's fine. It's just Google. You know, you can Google it.
Tell that to Chief Kokomo. You
Well, I
have a-
didn't know. I didn't know anything about Kokomo, so that's why I Googled it, because I didn't know anything about it.
You have a pet Komoko. I can't even say it. Kokomo dragon.
Oh, Kokomo dragon. Wait,
Komo-
how do you say that, Caleb?
Huh?
How do you say the dragon? The big dragon?
What dragon?
We're calling it Kokomo dragon, but that's not what it's called.
From what?
It's like a kimono. Komodo?
Kimono
No,
dragon.
no.
Oh,
Komodo.
Komodo, Caleb said.
Go
Kimono
IU.
is,
Yeah, we know what a kimono is.
Komodo.
Komodo, Commando.
Komodo.
something.
Komodo, commando, whatever.
Oh, Gabby, tell Caleb I said fishing and fresh rotisserie chicken.
Carmen said fishing and fresh. I can't even talk now. Fresh rotisserie chicken. Caleb. That's what Carmen
Nope.
said. Fishing and fresh rotisserie chicken.
Fresh.
Fresh rotisserie
Fresh.
chicken.
Who was
Nothing better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
freaky fresh? Was that John? Jimmy John's. What was there? Freaky fresh, fast something. Carmen.
Ricky Fast Delivery. No,
Yeah,
that's
there was
it.
fresh.
I don't know. Don't you have fam? Or no? I'm getting my states mixed up. Never mind.
I have nobody out there. People say that I sound like I'm from out there. I've never been out there.
That's because I say vehicle, and we can
That's
get
Indiana's
some corn.
That's Indiana's fault.
Vehicle.
The people that come over from like Louisiana, when they talk, I'm like, what did you just say? Because they'll be
You're
like,
like-
yeah, we just went down to the boondocks and over there, and there was a gator, and I'm like, what?
And we were down by the bayou.
But Flashman has a Louisiana, Mississippiana accent.
Mississippiana accent?
That's Flashman.
A Mississippiana accent?
He's from Mississippi. Thank
He's
you.
from Mississippiana.
Louisiana and Mississippi. Because he said, see, he knows what I'm talking about.
Mississippiana. That's what I'm calling Mississippi from now on.
Thank you, Sticky, because I shouldn't, because I've never been there. So there's no reason for me to. But I've been told that I do.
I always say that he has a
Wait.
Louisiana accent.
So quick, you'll skip the other 6 inches.
Oh my God.
That's
Are
my
you
mother.
sure?
Let's go. That's my mother.
You have an accent. Just accept it.
You do. We all do. Listen
You
to
do.
how I say sparklers, all right?
Try getting into the deep south where they served iced tea on a hot day.
I'm good with that.
Sticky
Oh,
jet
I-
boat.
I get called baby so freaking much here. Like, I'll just be trying to check out at Walmart and she'll be like, baby, how's your day going? You all right? I'm like, I just want to buy my milk. Like,
She's like, would you like some sweet tea?
you want some sweet tea? Or when you tick somebody off, oh, bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart.
Let's go. I do not watch the news. It's that way if the world ends. I don't know and I don't care.
Basically, I mean, if it's going to end, it's going to end, right?
Yep.
Who needs to have a front seat to that?
I mean, I figure I'll be either the first set to go because I'm towards the middle of the country. I'm not in the middle of the country. That's my home state, which is Nebraska, is the middle of the country. So either they're going to go first or people think, well, there's the Midwest, so they're going to hit us first, or the coast are going to go first. So
They're probably we'll probably be the ones who go first over here. We'll probably be the first ones.
I figured I would be the first to go. I'd be like, Cheyenne, take the flags down to give us another chance.
And I'd be riding it, and I'd be like, "Is that all you have?" Like Lieutenant Dan on top of the
Gabby
ship.
would be out there with double flip off going.
Yeah.
Bring it.
She's gonna be
This
doing
is
double
what you
flip
call
flops.
Storm. This is all you have.
Just see Crocs flying everywhere.
Oh heck yeah. Gabby is not sweet tea. She's just tea. The other tea is unsweet and is an abomination. Fabulous. I love it. What else you got?
Well, Lavi, I hope nobody broke into your house. If they did, are they the person that was limping down the road?
You know what, Lavi?
Sorry.
Are you
I
talking
understand.
because I'm in it here? Hummer factories, are they still, they've died.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
I
Oh,
had someone, Lavi, I had someone break into my house once. I was in the shower and I didn't care. I came out.
Yo,
of that
that's like
shower.
straight out of a horror movie right
I
there.
came out of that shower so freaking quick.
It always happens in a shower.
I started chasing him. He was like, oh shit.
I'm practicing restraint. Yeah. Yeah.
Why start?
Bass, basically.
Why start now?
Yeah,
Is
why,
that
yeah, why
over?
start
I
now?
mean,
Kind of rude if you ask me if you start now.
I bet it was. I bet it was.
I've been to the Hummer factory.
Sorry.
It was uplifting. That was a good one.
Oh, my goodness. Flashman ran away, didn't he?
Baby,
Well,
come back.
apparently once we didn't give him pants, he had enough.
He said he didn't
And now
want
he had to
pants.
buy, well, now he had to buy Carmen
wanted-
dinner too.
And they wanted, and then all his girls have to have that bag.
No,
See,
he's right there.
I knew it would make him appear.
I was gonna
He
say
was
flash
listening.
fan. It took me like 15 minutes to get my pants on. Give
Yes,
me a
it did.
moment.
I was like, good
Ah.
heavens.
That's
It's
hilarious.
hard. My knee hurts. It doesn't.
That's
I
what
know.
I said. You need those pull-up things.
You can't even see him. You couldn't see if you had pants on or not. Well, now
That's
you
what my knee
can.
looks like.
Well, first of all, that's why it took you so long, because that pant leg has a big hole in it.
So I can bend it. That's a giant bruise that it still has.
Yeah, but your leg could have went through that. Could have injured yourself more. If you had
Can you
regular
imagine?
pants with no holes in it, would have
You
been
know how
easier, I
mad-
think.
How mad I would have been if my foot accidentally went through the pant and I tripped.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. You gotta be careful with those holy pants. Holy Spirit, activate.
Holy Spirit, activate. Sorry.
Not a poor spray tan. She's injured. She's injured. Here's
That
Leah.
reminds me. I gotta call my doctor tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Doc,
yesterday.
doc.
Well, did you call the police or police, depending on which
Well, hold on.
country you're
Let me
from?
hold on a second. Let me make sure Betty didn't get out of jail. That might be why
No,
your
come
door's
on.
damaged.
Yeah, I know, right? You gotta keep an eye on that. You gotta have a steel enforced door just in case Betty gets loose. You never know what could happen.
If the priests aren't, why should Carmen act appropriately in holy pants? Oh, wow.
I mean, good point. Good point. I like your style.
Let's go. What was that joke? What was it? Something with priest.
I
and
just
Woody.
told you
What
this
was-
yesterday.
I can't remember. And it's
What's
really just
the
because I want
difference
you to say it.
between liar, between Woody from Toy Story and a priest? Woody falls down when the kid walks into the room and the priest stands up.
Bazinga.
I'm so proud of you for saying it.
But
See what you've done, Brandon? Let's go.
he's proud of himself. Don't you worry.
I gotta save that
Don't
one on my
you
phone.
worry.
That's a good one.
I know it was, but because she was trying to embarrass me, so I had to say it just flat.
Well, too bad, because you should just definitely say Uncle Pud Pud right now. 'Cause that'd be
No, nope.
Uncle Pud Pud.
Uncle Puddy Pud.
I told you, Gabby, right? Why I didn't like to say that, or did I tell you that, Carmen?
You didn't
No,
tell me.
Carmen had said it, and then I had said it, but you read mine,
Oh,
and mine
sorry.
was like, made you feel weird, and then I put it in a super chat.
No, but I told one of you. I
I don't
told
remember.
one of you why I didn't like saying it. It's one of you's lying.
Which one? You can't
The
see my
one-
face. Which
The
one?
one on the bottom of the screen.
What happened?
Yeah, Mom, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
I explained to Carmen why I didn't, and then when I explained it to her, why I didn't like to say that, she was like, "Oh, that makes me feel weird," because she's been calling him that. So I think it may be a regional thing. It's probably definitely a generation or like a 80s, 90s thing versus of being a kid.
Mhm.
I'm 30 years old, woman.
And so you would hear like people would say, other guys would say to other guys, like, "What are you doing? Playing with your pud?" So
Well, I mean,
And-
that makes perfect sense for Puddle Town because he's always talking about fapping anyway. So
Yeah, but then when Carmen's like, Uncle Pud Pud, I'm like, stop it. What are you talking about?
no one
Block
blocked
you.
you.
I
I
can
don't even know
see
who
you
that
right
is.
here.
No one blocked you.
Brandon, you've never heard of fapping. I don't believe you.
Yeah, get out of here. Well, technically, I didn't know what it was. So
I didn't either. So I had
everyone
my
else
mom.
knew but me, and they were all laughing at me because I kept saying fap, fap, fap on live. And everyone's like, stop, Gabby, stop. And I'm like, what?
Well, Caleb knows. He can.
Yeah, he
can-
knew. You
can
knew. And I was like, what the hell?
I didn't do anything, Flashman.
No
Oh,
one.
No
gonna
clue.
No
Do you need to know?
one blocked you.
Listen, Turtle. Look at that fish. He's got a different picture up.
And actually, if all the mods can't block other mods, so no one blocked you.
He is
I don't
not.
know what you did.
Not blocked. Zach, do you always post pictures of fish? Because that's the only type of fish that you can get.
Just Nancy Reagan it. Oh my lord.
Flashman, you're right there. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you really? You know, Brandon.
I think you need to tell the class.
I don't want to
I
tell
don't-
the class.
I don't remember.
No
Liar.
clue. Wait, what does he want to know?
What
What's that
fapping is.
mean?
Oh,
I gotta turn a light on. It's freaking dark in here.
Well, you don't know.
you have to be a master at debating things. That's what that is.
A method of self-soothing that may provide relief and contentment.
Exactly.
This is not. Shut up.
A master at debating.
Fapping. It's the noise that it makes for
Ugh.
human.
When you're debating people, the noise that happens during the debating.
Is
Gosh dang.
what?
I'm sorry, is that Spanglish?
Triskaidekaphobia?
Is that a real thing?
Triskaidekaphobia?
Let me Google it.
Triskaidekaphobia? Nobody did anything, Flashman. I can see Flashman.
Oh, it is a real thing. Hold on. There's a fear of the number 13 and can manifest as a phobia, cause significant anxiety and distress when individuals encounter the number 13 or situations associated with it. This fear can be rooted in various culture beliefs, historical events, or personal experiences. That's what that word said. Maybe
I think I
means.
knew that. Carmen was
I
not
did not
afraid
know
of
that.
13.
I have
first I
13 tattooed on
Well,
my body.
At first, I thought it said turducken, and I was like, nope.
Isn't there a food called like that when you put like a duck and
Yeah, so that's a
Side,
real thing.
a turkey
It's a turducken.
and like a chicken inside the duck and the duck inside a turkey?
Caleb, what's a turducken?
Chicken inside a turkey inside. I'm sorry, chicken inside a duck inside a turkey.
AJ goes like this. I was right.
Turducken.
Home run for AJ.
Home run, and then
Above my
Sound
pay
it
grade,
out.
Brandon. Have you ever
No,
listened to me try to say a word?
no, I'm not sounding that out. No.
Did
Well, it's
you
not
get?
letting me type on that one, so
I
I
don't
don't know.
know,
I don't know
Flashman.
either. I don't either.
Did you?
Maybe log out and then come back in. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Just
meat stuff. and
Meat stuffed in meat, stuffed in meat. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Fake vodka drink check. I don't, that's the judge. It's like, been there,
Wait,
done that.
Flash fan.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Have you been there, done that, meat stuffed and meat? Or fake vodka drink check? Or is an elephant walking? Which one have you done that?
Or have you done fat?
Don't ask me that.
I don't need to know that answer. Thank you very much.
Can't believe I just
It
asked you
sounds
that.
really foul. It sounds really foul, Zach says.
Sorry, Flash fan. I shouldn't have asked you that.
You should not have asked him that.
Sticky
I
widget. That's my favorite meat.
What? None of the above.
Oh, all right.
I could say so many things, but I won't.
I mean, I have at least 20 off the top of my head, but I definitely won't.
Also, Zach, my neighborhood is safe. I just had a burglar. I'm pretty sure my neighbor died.
She had
It's
a
fine.
burglar.
Burglar alert.
I can say
Burglar.
burglar. It's now I'm thinking of it. Burglarly.
Call the ambulance. Ambulance.
It's a
I gotta-
tractor trailer.
I'll be right back.
It took me years to be able to say tractor trailer. I still have to think about it. Because I would say twactor trailer.
I thought
Or-
you just had pizza.
Who wants a burger? Me.
Carmen.
What else did I say? Oh, I'd say, when I get really mad, I'd say, stop it. Which would make everybody laugh. That would make me more mad. Stop
me
it.
see.
Stop it right now.
Oh, it's like, okay. All right. They make cures for burglary. It comes in many calibers.
Yep.
Good grief.
Well, somebody just found out. Did a little bit of FAFO.
We have a red snapper on the menu.
Red snapper's good.
Your sister would say, weave me a wall.
See, I really am your kid. It runs in the family.
Is she back yet? I can't buy no one a burger. I'd have to tap into my chicken fund. And all your girls need to have that bag. So weave me a wall. Turd burglar. Ew. Yuck.
Ugh. It's a white turd on the ground.
Ew. All right,
You
Gabby,
ha-
come.
Do you have the milk song?
I can't finish it.
Yeah, I've had 3 to your
Finish
1.
that drink off. You've selfishly left enough things unfinished, save for a handful of occasions. Sorry.
Turd Ferguson at the surface.
Sorry, Brandon. I can't finish it. It's so gross.
Did you hear what I said?
What? Sorry.
Do you have the milk song?
I don't know where.
For those who haven't heard it, and then I'm going to go another 6 months without being able to drink milk.
I don't have it. I don't have it just like handy. I'll also leave that unfinished, Brandon. And you're never going to hear the word bag and think of it the same way again. Flash fan, you're welcome.
Yep.
It is not, yeah, glasses and
Glasses
gallons. I
and
thought that
gallons.
said gallons and gallons.
Glasses and gallons.
Gabby, if I played it, we'd probably be called inappropriate.
This whole stream has been inappropriate.
Somebody said I was inappropriate. We were inappropriate. We were all inappropriate.
I don't care.
I was like, I don't care. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Well, you're gonna. Never mind. Never mind.
Well, we try.
Well, let's go. If you want to spin my hood, you gotta sign up on the clipboard. You know I'm a very busy woman.
All right, I will. I'll go sit in the corner. All right,
So,
Gabby, come back. Because she's got to go
have-
mod for grandma.
Have you kept up on that thing happening in California with that baby?
No, I have not done anything.
So there was a woman in California that said she was at a park and she was changing her 7-month-old diaper, and someone came, knocked her out, and then when she came to, her baby's gone. So now they're searching for this baby and nobody can find it. And then they went back through, like obviously like doing interrogations and stuff, found a bunch of inconsistencies. DCF has been involved with them before, but yeah, now there's a 7-month-old missing.
There's about to be a 3.5-year-old dog.
No, it's not. Why? So I can have another missing dog? You never told me what happened to Casey.
I don't know what happened to that dog. She didn't go live on a farm. As long as it's a dry erase board, I'll still be dead, and that's perverted interpretation of what I said. Stop saying that. It is not. Flash fan. I would never tell Gabby that. Oops, sorry. I'm losing my voice. Yep. And it just always ends that way anyway. But all right, guys, I'm losing my voice. So I
Hold on 1 second.
It is way past my bedtime, and I have my granddaughter tomorrow and Saturday. For what? For Brandon's RIP. Stop it.
Oh, Brandon, you ain't going anywhere. I won't let you.
It's time for me to go to sleep. That's right. I don't have, my voice is like gone. It's leaving. I don't.
Is grandma on?
She's muted. Yes, you do. Quit blaming us. We did not do anything. She's probably talking to Caleb.
Yeah, Flash fan. We just got married, and now we're gonna get a divorce because of conflict. Yes, she's on.
No. Yes, you did.
Whoa.
You blamed all of us.
Oh man, it's lightning outside. That's stupid.
Stop. I'm leaving.
All right, redirect to grandma.
I'm
She's
not
on.
redirecting to grandma.
What? Oh, never mind. Yeah.
And I
Well,
hope she understands.
I don't know how to drop it in the chat.
Yes, you said, who blocked me? and he blamed us.
You were like, somebody did something.
Peace. I won't read the other one. Peace. Peace. Brandon, take care. It's not time for the balcony. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Lavi, I'm sorry too. But tomorrow's a brand new day and you can start over. And I won't be here to derail you. I will not be back until Monday to derail everyone. Okay. I can't say anything else.
Well, if anybody wants to go to Grandma's house, that's where I'll be. But also remember that's a kids channel. So things that we talk about here, we cannot talk about there. But I'm going to go because my favorite part of my day is being in Grandma's box. So, yes, that's what I'm going to do.
All right. I'm going to go to bed and gear up for 2 days of Madison fun. I'll be tired.
All right.
Gabby, thank you. You're muted, so you can't say anything. And Carmen, thank you. Thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with me. Sorry I let everyone down and didn't finish this nastiness in a can. This is so gross. That's why I don't have any more of those.
I really do got to go because it's lightning. I got to go get my glass.
See ya. And I'll see you. I'll just get away. Gabby, I'm taking you off. All right, you guys. I will see you guys on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's the plan, unless something goes weird with Bree getting her wisdom teeth cut out on Monday. My plan is to be here. Then we will do Betty's sentencing, and that will wrap Betty up nicely in a bow and put her away for the rest of her life. But it also means we have to say goodbye to the Hot Mannequin love song, and that makes me sad. But until then, enjoy your weekend, stay safe, make good choices, all that good stuff. So thank you everyone for your super chats. I appreciate it. Sorry I let you down again, Brandon. I will try better next time. And until then, I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.